at Ibrox as well. Here come the two teams at Motherwell. We keep you right updated on everything that happens here. But our live commentary this afternoon, Sports Sound of BBC Radio Scotland. It is at Ibrox. It's Rangers against Motherwell with Stephen Craig and Kenny Miller and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Richard. Good afternoon. What a big game this is. Rangers have stemmed the bleeding slightly after those two damaging results before the international break. Good win against St Johnstone and Real Betis, of course, here on Thursday night. But they know, and Michael Beale knows, he said it himself, there's no pats on the back to go around. No gongs handed out for that. They need to get on with business. And Motherwell will not make it easy, that's for sure. Unbeaten away from home in the league under Stuart Kettlewell in 8 games. They go into this game above Rangers in the league and with a chance to go 4 points clear of them in third. Yes, it's early in the season, but that tells its own story about these sides opening to the Premiership campaign. Motherwell looking to continue momentum. Rangers looking to build it. And there's a packed house here at Ibrox. It's been raining steadily for a while now. It'll be a slick surface. The pitch looks immaculate as the teams are out on the fields. Motherwell, 2002, the last time they won a Premiership game here. James McFadden scored the winner on Boxing Day over 20 years ago. And as the guys have been saying pre-match, this Motherwell team will come here with more belief and confidence than most, given the run they've been on since Stuart Kettlewell came in February. And Rangers with a fairly disjointed start. Injuries, no Raskin, Cantwell, Lawrence has dropped out of the squad. 3 changes again made by Michael Beale this afternoon. Can they find some rhythm, some slickness to their attacking play? That's what they'll be looking for. It's what this crowd is looking for here. Back to the Gunnels as we prepare for kick-off. Alan Muir, the referee, just puts his hand to his ear. I'll run you through the teams quickly. Rangers with Butland in goal, Goldson, Davis, Barisic, Tavernier the back 4, Lundstrom, Cifuentes, Lammers, Wright, Matondo and Dessers as Motherwell get things underway. You have Kelly in goal, McGinn, Mugabe, Casey, Lennon, Miller, Payton, Spittle, Slattery, Blair, Bear, and there's already a chance for Spittle here in the edge of the box, left foot blocked. And a good early start for Motherwell to just get the ball forward and put Rangers under pressure from the off. Ball's in the air, Bear wins the header. Down to the feet of Spittle out on the left-hand side, gives it back to Bear. It's it back again out on the left. Here's Payton down the touchline. And Rangers, through Tavernier, get a foot on it, but it drops back for Payton in the middle of the pitch. He fires into Slattery, who was 25 yards from goal, middle of the box, but he couldn't control it. And Rangers turn over the play. Davis gives it to Barisic. Barisic back to Davis. But a good start from the visitor, Stephen Craig.
Yeah, I think it's always good to show your intent early on of what you're wanting to do, which is a simple diagonal ball from right to left. James Tavernier didn't deal with it. And because Motherwell, the way they play, Slattery and Spittle and Harry Payton, they gamble when the ball goes up towards Theo Bear. So they really have to keep gambling that way.
Bear had the ball fired up to him again there. He's knocked it back to Lennon Miller, who goes back to Dan Casey, who's taken a run over halfway. Then it looks for the direct pass up to Slattery, but again he couldn't take it under his spell, the midfielder, and it goes through to Jack Butland, and Rangers will recycle and get a foot on the ball as we pass the opening minute. But again, Motherwell have turned it over in midfield. Here's Slattery into the Rangers half, moves it to O'Donnell on this right-hand touchline in front of us, in front of the main stand, right-footed cross, looking for Bear. He's got Tavernier and Goldson for company, and Goldson hits the deck, and I think he's got the free kick, the Rangers centre half.
It was actually a better pass choice. Blair Spittle made a great run in front of Connor Goldson. There was a huge gap between Goldson and Ben Davies. If he just dropped that in Stephen O'Donnell as opposed to going long, the Rangers, to get past Motherwell, they have to play around the outside of them. Rangers are playing with, Motherwell playing with 4 centre midfield players. So if we keep playing through the middle, Motherwell will have an advantage in there. They have to get out the Barisic and Tavernier for me.
And it's run out for a Motherwell goal kick. There was a ball played up the line for Rabi Matondo to chase, but he was asking a lot of him despite his searing pace, and Liam Kelly picks it up and trots over. But a positive start from Motherwell, a team that its confidence is not going to be derailed by that defeat by St Mirren last week. It seems to be St Mirren who have worked out how to beat them. A couple of defeats against Stephen Robinson's side this season, one in the League Cup, and Kelly's free kick is met by Scott Wright, who heads it, and it goes all the way back through for Liam Kelly. Rangers not had too much of the ball in the opening 2.5 minutes at Ibrox, and it's not often you can say that, Kenny Miller.
Absolutely not. It's been a great start for Motherwell, and you can see the threat that Theo Bair carries. You know, he's a big lad. He's a really good target for Motherwell to try and hit and give them a platform to attack.
And here's Slattery, picked up the long ball right on this right-hand touchline, chops infield in the left-footed pass, looking for Lennon Miller, who was running towards the edge of the box. It was just in front of him. Rangers turn it over, and here's Cifuentes, plays it in front for Wright, but Harry Payton gets back, and he's all over Scott Wright and wins the ball, and then earns a free kick. And Motherwell just winning the ball really effectively in midfield, all over Rangers. They're not getting a second to breathe, and McGinn will take this free kick just inside the Motherwell half. He goes forward to the right-hand corner of the box where O'Donnell leaps up against Barisic, but it's the Croatian who wins it. Now here's Scott Wright, infield for Cifuentes, but again, midfielder's given no time, but he managed to squeeze it away, and now Lammers comes forward into the Motherwell half, gives it to Lundstrom. Again, it's taken off the toes of a Rangers midfielder, but they get it back. Lammers, again it's cut out by Bair. Rangers win it back again. It's incredibly scrappy. Lammers, 20 yards of the box, cross comes in towards the front post, and Cyril Dessers, who stretched for it, and it fell for Liam Kelly, the Motherwell goalkeeper, to snatch. Very scrappy, that passage of play, frantic stuff in the middle of the pitch.
Both teams didn't want to retain possession. They got the ball and turned it over. It was almost like a game in the public park. Everybody condensed around the ball, and then eventually Rangers work it wide. That's where they get the success. Motherwell are quite narrow as a team, with Slattery playing narrow up front and Spittle playing in behind him as well. So Barisic and Tavernier imperative this afternoon if they want to get high.
4.5 played, nearly 0-0, and it's Motherwell who come forward again. Ball from Spittle infield to Slattery. It's up to Miller, who's up to the edge of the box looking for Bair. Intercepted, and now here's Cifuentes looking to give and go with Matondo, but it's intercepted, falls back for Harry Payton, opens up the space for the shot, and he flashes it just past Jack Butland's left-hand post. It was probably wider than it looked at first glance, and Jack Butland straight off his line shouting at his defenders, furious that was allowed to happen.
Yes, no, I think he'll be shouting at the team in general, because that's not far away, and I think if it's on target, I don't know if Jack Butland's getting there. I'd like to give him the vote of confidence. He knew the size of his goal, and it was going wide of the post, but Rangers too sloppy in the middle of the park. Stephen's talking about it. Yeah, both teams were, but that's 4 or 5 times already. Rangers are turning the ball over through the middle of the park. You've got Lexi Payton, Spittle, Slattery, all nicking little passes, and it's given Motherwell a really kind of strong foothold in this game.
Goldson plays it forward to Matondo, who goes out to Tavernier on the right hand side. Rangers go back into their own half. Here's Lundstrom, who's dropped into the centre half position, passes it over to Scott Wright, who turns it, he's taking it a run, he's away from Lennon Miller, he's still got a while to go, and then he's fouled by Paul McGinn, who came out of defence to meet him as he surged towards goal. And it'll be a Rangers free kick about 35 yards out, fairly central, and they go short through right to the feet of Lundstrom, looking to just try and string a few passes together. Rangers, they've not had much of it in the opening nearly 6 minutes here, goalless. Here's Scott Wright forward to Dessers, gives it off to Lammers, out to the left hand side of Barisic towards the edge of the Motherwell box up the line, but it's tackled. Wright is tackled by McGinn, who clears it up the line. Ben Davis has it on halfway line for Rangers across to Goldson. Right-footed pass out to Tavernier, the captain, takes a few steps forward, and then he's met with a claret and amber jersey, and it's out for a throw-in. Tavernier goes quickly to Cifuentes, gets it back, gives it infield to Lammers, who's miles from the goal, facing away from goal, forced to go backwards to Ben Davis, who takes a couple of touches, left-footed pass back towards the far side of the pitch, and Goldson, good pass forward to the feet of Matondo, and now Tavernier's on the overlap, right on the far touchline. He crosses it in with the right foot towards Dessers, but Bevis Mugabe gets a head on it. Lammers controls the edge of the box, he's got a bit of space, he's into the box, gets the right-footed shot away, it's blocked. He'll go after the seconds and pick it up, gives it to Tavernier out on the far side, and then a little pass around the corner from Matondo, which Motherwell just usher out of play. Goal kick, 0-0, nearly 7 minutes played at Ibrox.
It's better from Rangers though. You know, they're being patient, they're trying to pin Motherwell back, but what you see is that every time Rangers get into a wide area, the Motherwell midfield players are the two deepest lamb ones, particularly Lennon Miller and Harry Payton. They throw themselves back into the box as well, so there's 6 or 7 Motherwell players prepared to put the bodies in the line and go and win headers. It's when it drops to the edge of the box, that's where Rangers may get their chance, and that's exactly what happened there. They recycled it.
Liam Kelly with a goal kick, right foot goes long. Ben Davis is underneath that one, heads it up. O'Donnell tussles with Wright, wins it, but Cifuentes picks it up in midfield, trying to find Lammers. Lammers hooks it forward, but it falls for Paul McGinn, who puts it up in the air with the left foot. Davis heads it to the feet of Barisic, who's immediately met by Slattery and forced to go back to Ben Davis. Motherwell not happy to give up a half of the pitch and sit deep. They're trying to get on top of Rangers, and it's been effective in the opening nearly 8 minutes here. And he turned over the ball again in the Rangers half, and then Slattery is tackled from behind by Wright, but he got a good foot on the ball. Scott Wright into the team, his first start under Michael Beale. And Motherwell will come forward. O'Donnell gives it to Bear, whose touch is really heavy, and that's going to run out for a bye kick. 2 Rangers, 0-0, 8 played.
I think Motherwell have been brave when the opportunity's on to do so. The ball was rolled into Scott Wright, who is back to the game. Stephen O'Donnell was able to nick in front, so he's taking little risks, and I think there has to be areas of the pitch where you take a little risk. You can't just continually backtrack.
And here's Matondo coming forward midway through the Motherwell half, out to the right-hand touchline. Tavernier gives it back to Matondo, who drops his shoulder, and he's going to go to the byline, stays on his feet, pulls it back to the edge of the 6-yard box. But Bevis Mugabe did his job, read it, and cleared up the field. Now Rangers just trying to combine with each other in the Motherwell half, but it's all a bit clumsy, and they lose the ball, much to the ire of some of the fans around us in the main stand. And Motherwell go long towards Spittle, and the clearance from Rangers only as far as Slattery's then tried to ping across the back post where Spittle was backpedaling, but it was too much for him, and it goes out for a throw into Rangers on the far side.
I must say, I've been really impressed with the start Motherwell have made. You know, Rangers had a couple of promising attacks, but it's been down the right-hand side predominantly, again for that a familiar source in James Tavernier cross, and then a cutback for the Matondo. But I think if that's what Rangers are going to do, Stuart Kettlewell, like Stephen says, he's getting his midfielders back in that second 6-yard box, and he's got 3 monsters there to attack and defend the cross, so he'll be pretty happy. You've got to give something up. He'll be pretty happy that they're not playing through them, and when they do, things like that are happening, they're getting cut out.
Yeah, James Tavernier gives it away, and Motherwell are on the front foot again, but it's just that final pass up to the front players that sometimes a wee bit overhit, or the touches let them down at times, but it's been positive nonetheless. 0-0 as we approach the 10th minute mark here at Ibrox. Well, again, bring you any goal updates or any key incidents from Pittodrie. Willie Miller is there from us, Aberdeen taking on Ross County in the other game today, and Cifuentes, middle of the Motherwell half, gives it to Wright, gets it back. It's now with Lundstrom off to Ben Davis, who's going to go a little run forward. Slattery comes back, and it's to Barisic, who's going to cross it from the left-hand touchline, headed away by Casey to the edge of the Motherwell box, where Spittle controls. Good composure to pick out Lennon Miller, who's moving towards the halfway line. He's dinked a pass out to Theo Bear, who controls it. It's gone just away from him, but he's going to keep it in on the left-hand touchline, looks to feed it through, and now Tavernier's going to have to do some defending out on the touchline. It's good play, and then a foul is that for by Matondo as he backtrack it is, and it's going to be a free kick to Motherwell in a dangerous position.
But you know what, you can't underestimate how important that first pass is when you win the ball deep in your own half. I think it was Blair Spittle just rolled it in to Lennon Miller. You know, that just means then you've got a foothold in the game, because Rangers have committed men forward, and how often teams come here, they turn the ball over so easily. Motherwell will make the pass, suddenly it's a diagonal pass, and Motherwell can get themselves up the pitch.
And that's the thing about those 4 players in the midfield. They can all handle the ball, Stephen. They can all see that pass, and they're more than comfortable to take it as well.
We've played 11 minutes, and this is a great chance for Motherwell. Free kick, almost in line with the edge of the Rangers box, out on the left-hand side as we sit in the main stand. And it's going to be Spittle with a right foot. He's going to flash this in. It's all the way to the back post where Lammers is. That's unconvincing, and Mugabe throws himself in to try and get a header. He took out, was it Goldson? As he did it, Goldson had to head it over the bar, and it's going to be a corner, but I don't know what Sam Lammers was thinking there. You
know, it's an incredible, I mean, I think he needs to get something on it, but he needs to know exactly what he's doing. He needs to probably just edge it out for a corner, because he puts it right back across the goal like the Motherwell player would have wanted to do. He puts it in an incredibly dangerous area, and Connor Goldson has to defend it and put it out for the corner. I mean, I must say it was a free kick from Mugabe on the back of Goldson. He put him right into the net.
Yeah, I think that's what Connor Goldson was protesting. Here's a corner from Spittle, right foot, doesn't beat the first man. Dessers at the near post, he heads it away, and it's going to go out for a throw-in to Motherwell. It's near side, and Stuart Kettlewell might be a tad frustrated at the quality on that corner, because you've got to try and make the most of these opportunities to put the Rangers defence under pressure. It's been better from them in the last couple of games. 2 clean sheets. And Ben Davis coming back into the team, and McGinn takes the throw and gets it back from Slattery into Miller. He's flicked it Round the corner, but Rangers win possession. Here's Lundstrom, touches it away from Miller. Infield to Lammers. It's a nice touching pass to Cifuentes, and he'll open it up with a right-footed pass over onto Tavernier, who crosses the halfway line. He's got Matondo to the right. He's up to the edge of the box, gives it to Matondo. He's in the right-hand side of the box, cross in towards a 6-yard box, but there was so many Motherwell players there, and it's intercepted, and it's all the way back with Connor Goldson now in the centre circle. The Rangers defender, right-footed pass to Cifuentes. He checks back, he's looking for options, gives it to Davis. He thinks about a switch out to the right-hand side, but gives it to Goldson, who will pass with the right foot to Tavernier. Gets it back first time from his captain, and then Goldson across it. Slattery goes to close down, but the defender gets it away to Lundstrom, who now spreads it out to this left-hand side of Barisic, who's only going to do one thing and whip it to the back post. Casey's underneath it, all the way to the edge of the box. Cifuentes is going to unleash the strike, blocked. Now Lundstrom, touch wasn't ideal to set up the shot. He's helped it on to Tavernier, crosses with the right foot, charged down by Spencer, and out for a throw-in on the far side. 0-0, 13.5 played at Ibrox.
Quick switches of play. That's what will get Rangers success down the flanks when you've got Tavernier and you've got Barisic and the quality that they have. If you're laboured and you're slow and it takes 4 passes, it isn't going to happen. It's got to be touch and move the ball as quick as you possibly can.
And Lammers takes it on a half turn, and he's got away from Payton, gives it to Wright, gets it straight back first time, then it's away to Lundstrom. That's better from Rangers, quicker out to the left hand side. Barisic is going to cross with the left foot, it's in there towards Dessers again, it's just flicked away. Now it's with Cifuentes on the edge of the box, right footed pass to Tavernier. Motherwell get back into position, try and force him backwards. A nice flick from Wright, gets it back, and then was looking for Lammers on the edge of the box, just didn't go to the Dutchman's feet. That's better, quicker play from Rangers. Kenny Miller.
Listen, it is good. I mean, again, there's been a couple of crosses that have came in, both for Barisic and Tavernier. This time they try and play through with a link up between Lammers and Wright and Cifuentes, but the amount of claret and amber jerseys that are in that area of the pitch is going to be ever so hard to get through there.
Theo Bair was pinched in midfield, and Bair ended up with it. He's taking a little sore one as he lost the ball. Here come Rangers. Tavernier, he slipped it through. Matondo's on the overlap, and he's brought down by Spencer. Is he? No, it's a goal kick, says Alan Muir. The referee was slipped round the back. Matondo went down.
Well, usually a player's reaction is the gauge, and Rabbi Matondo didn't complain for a free kick, or he didn't ask the referee for a corner kick. I think he just accepted the decision, so clearly Brodie Spencer must have made the tackle off his foot and put it right behind the goal.
And the linesman was playing a guessing game, that's for sure. I think he was looking at the referee, and they're both for the looking at each other thinking somebody's going to make a decision. So the one thing about Brodie Spencer is he's got the athleticism to deal with Matondo and Tavernier on that side. He's great engine arm.
And here is Spencer, and he goes past Cifuentes with ease up the touchline, drives over halfway, and he's come in field away from Tavernier. Needs a bit of help though, and he's tried to nick it away, and he's actually got himself a free kick. That is fantastic play from the 19-year-old Northern Irishman. He was getting the praise from Kenny Miller there, and he duly obliged with some fantastic play to get Motherwell out of their own half.
Yeah, just as well he never gave it away there.
No. What's the opposite of the commentator's curse? Well, ball through for Payton, left-hand corner of the box for Motherwell, squares it across. Here's a chance for Slattery. Oh, what a chance for Callum Slattery. He opened up the right foot, he was in the box. It was a decent angle to try and curl it into the far corner, but he didn't wrap his foot round it, and it's gone wide.
I've got to say, it's not clever defending by Connor Goldson initially. You know, in against Harry Payton, he's able to turn back inside, and once he turns inside, he opens a whole goal up for himself. Slattery is always willing to go and support. Spittle always willing to go and support, and you can see why they've had success with regards winning games and scoring a few goals, because they're quite happy to go and join in the play, knowing they've got that platform behind them to go and defend.
Sorry. It's a real system that suits them. You know, very similar to the national team, the way they play, with the two players supporting that main striker, and it just suits Spittle how he wants to play. It suits Slattery. Even Payton there, getting beyond the game and making that forward run for the free kick and catching Rangers out. Really, really good play for Motherwell.
But also, sorry, what's impressive then is you've got a 17-year-old, you know, who's holding the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, the disciplined one, yeah.
Who recognises that players have gone and they can sit behind the game.
Is that Rabbi Matondo, who's down in a heap over there on the middle of the pitch? There was a ball forward, he went down, there was a clash, but there's no free kick given, and Cyril Dessers is having a word with Alan Muir saying it's a free kick, but Tavernier's up there as well, but Matondo's still down, and the last thing Rangers need is another injury, you have to say. Goalless here, live on Sports Sound. Rangers 0, Motherwell 0. We'll bring you any goals, any action from Pittodrie. Aberdeen second bottom of the table, desperate for their first league win of the season against Ross County. Willie Miller is there for us. Currently, Motherwell have made an excellent start to this game. Had a couple of chances as well. Harry Payton, a shot wide from the edge of the box. Slattery with that one just a moment ago, where if he's a capable finisher, Callum Slattery. You almost expect them to do better there. He just dragged it wide of Jack Butland's goal. Rabi Matondo is back to his feet and he's going to walk off. He looks okay, if a bit bruised, but he's going to be able to continue, I think. So it's positive news for Rangers. He's had a bit of a resurgence in recent games, his Rangers career. Another one who joined last summer, hasn't set the header alight and looked like he might be on his way, but he's improved. A couple of goals, does wonders for the confidence, and on we go with this Motherwell free kick. Liam Kelly goes long, Davis wins the header, and Wright loses out to Lennon Miller. Now Slattery has the ball at his feet, nudges it on to Harry Payton on halfway. He goes back to Casey in the centre half, onto Mugabe, under pressure from Dessers, takes a good touch away from the striker, but then he doesn't get rid of it, and Lammers almost closes him down. And he sometimes has that in him. Bevis Mugabe did the right thing initially, but needed to get rid of the ball, and then it's long for Slattery, controls it wonderfully on the chest while holding off Ben Davis, then turns away, gets the pass away to Lennon Miller, up to Slattery again. Spittle laid it off for him, and it's back to Lennon Miller, and they're looking to move it to the left. Matondo stepped in to try and shut it down, but here's Spencer on the left-hand side, right-footed switch of play over to O'Donnell. He's outside the box, he's now going back towards his own goal, turns, faces up Barisic, gives it to Slattery, who's been active down this right-hand side, and he is up against Scott Wright, gives it back to O'Donnell, comes in field, and then it's given away. Spittle checked, and then Cifuentes robbed him, and now here come Rangers. It's into the left-hand side where Dessers looked for the cross, blocked by Mugabe. He's got it again, he's into the box. Mugabe stands really tall and gets the foot in. That is excellent defending from Bevis Mugabe. Blocked the initial one, makes a tackle, and saved his team as Rangers broke with numbers there. And now here come Motherwell up the other end. Slattery gets it from Bear, moves it infield to Lennon Miller, pass for Spittle, gets it straight back. Miller, now Payton out to the left hand side. Spencer joins the attack, he's on the corner of the box up against Tavernier, comes in on the right foot, takes a shot, but it's a comfortable one at the near post for Butland to take. Rangers 0, Motherwell 0, 20 played here at Ibrox.
Yeah, and that was a brilliant opportunity for Rangers there. Dessers just spins out. Cifuentes initially does great to read the pass, uses his power and gets in and nicks it, releases Dessers down the left side. He's got to make the pass for me though. I mean, it was incredible defending for Mugabe in two instances. Firstly, he blocked the pass, and then to deal with the 1v1 situation with Dessers.
Here comes Slattery yet again. He's got a chance to cross on the right hand side of the box. It goes to the back post where Bear's waiting, but Tavernier got a crucial boot on it, and he's cleared it out the box where Matondo controls, gives it back to Tavernier, who's got a bit of time to pick the pass back to his goalkeeper Jack Butland. Motherwell have been excellent as the rain comes down, slightly heavier now here at Ibrox.
It's been a really good game, I've got to say. You know, both teams are quite happy to go at the game. Motherwell prepared to commit men forward, and sometimes they're giving the ball away up too easily.
Well, there's been a goal at Pittodrie. I'll get to Willie. In fact, let's go to Willie now. Willie Miller, what's happening?
Yeah, it's a goal totally against the run of play, because Ross County have dominated this game, but it goes to Aberdeen. It's Bojan Mijoski that gets the final touch after quite a spectacular overhead kick from Rubizic. It landed right at the striker's feet, and he tapped it into the back of the net to give Aberdeen an unlikely lead here at Pittodrie.
Bojan Mijoski continuing his fine start to the season for Aberdeen, who lead Ross County. It's 0-0 here. Here's Matondo on the right hand side for Rangers. Cross which took a bit of a deflection and just bounced before Liam Kelly was comfortably able to take it. He rolls it out to the feet of Paul McGinn, back in the side after suspension, and he's taken it all the way up, almost unopposed to the halfway line. Then he's eventually forced to check back and give it to O'Donnell, who has to go back to Liam Kelly as goalkeeper after Dessers did well to close him down. And Kelly's going to go long with the right foot, searching for Spittle. Tavernier though wins the header, and he's found Matondo with the headed clearance, who's going to go on his bike. But Spencer, that's fantastic from the youngster. Back, strong challenge, and Motherwell again have the ball. I'd be interested to see some of the possession stats, because Motherwell have done well, although that's just as I've said that, they've given it away. O'Donnell and Slattery, and now here's Barisic halfway, again straight under pressure from Lennon Miller. and Barisic is going to get the free kick. And just Martin Dowden has bailed me out here with the possession stats. 40% nearly for Motherwell, which opening 22 is probably more than you would expect a visiting team to have.
Listen, they've been excellent though, but there's one thing. Theo Bair, they've got a good target, but they've also got a willing runner. Rangers are really, really high up the pitch. There's a few times there, particularly on this right-hand side, whether it be McGinn or O'Donnell, I think they can just release him a little bit earlier. And if he gets the ball in behind there, he's going to be in a foot race with Davies or Goldson, and it gets them right up the pitch. There's a different way they can attack. They've been doing excellent bits. So there's definitely opportunities over the top of this Rangers backline.
Here's Dessers midway through the Motherwell half. He came deep to get it, and now Rangers on the front foot. Lammers on the edge of the box, gives it to Matondo, going to unleash a right-footed shot, deflected and into the back of the net. And Cyril Dessers slides on his knees. Must have got the final touch on that one. It was Matondo's shot. It hit off someone. Dessers, clearly the way he's celebrating, claiming it, and it flew past Liam Kelly into the top corner. And all of Motherwell's good work in the opening 24 minutes here is undone. Rangers lead by a 0-0 here at Ibrox.
Yeah, this is very, very fortunate. I think it's off them. We'll see it again in a minute if he's... Yeah, it's thinking it's actually really good play between the front three of Matondo, Lammers and Scotty Wright. They're all playing really, really narrow in behind Dessers, and it goes from right to Lammers to Matondo, who then shoots, and I don't think Dessers knows too much about it. Looks like he might be trying to get out of the way, but it connects him and flies into Liam Kelly's top corner. I think the Matondo shot was definitely going wide as well, so stroke up there for Rangers.
But it just shows, you know, when Rangers play 1 and 2 touch, they play the ball really quickly. They can play through Motherwell's midfield, they can play around him, and when the ball drops to Rabbi Matondo, someone's got to try and get to him a little bit quicker to try and stop that strike coming off. I don't think they deserve to be behind, but you know, Stuart Kettlewell now has to look for a response from his players. He said ahead of the game he would learn an awful lot about them today. Now we'll see what they're made of.
It's a first league goal for Cyril Dessers in a Rangers jersey, and Kenny's right, he looked like he was trying to move out the way, almost took a backward step, and it hit off his foot and went into the back of the net. But when you're a striker and you're fairly low on confidence, you'll take them any way they come, and he enjoyed it with a celebration. And Stuart Kettlewell said it himself, you need a bit of luck sometimes when you come to places like Ibrox. Sometimes you can play really well and not get a result. Still plenty of time, of course, but Motherwell slightly unfortunate with that one. Rangers don't care, they have the advantage they were looking for, and the fans here were able to celebrate. And here's Lennon Miller on halfway as Motherwell looked to immediately hit back. Lovely switch of play with the right foot out to Brad Spencer, and Tavernier had to slide in and make the challenge. Motherwell throw in on the far side. It's taken to the feet of Payton, helps it back to Slattery and to Lennon Miller, into the feet of Spittle, who flicked it first time, but it was beyond Theo Bair, and Jack Butland will control it on the byline under no pressure, and Rangers will look to play out. 25.5 minutes played, and Rangers leading through that Dessers deflected goal. Aberdeen 1-0 up at home to Ross County, courtesy of Bojan Miofsky. Here's Scott Wright, just crosses the halfway line. Have you been impressed with what you've seen from Scott Wright so far? Because he's come into the team almost from nowhere, Kenny. Yeah,
he has, but listen, he'll always be involved. I mean, the way Michael plays his front, or the three players behind the striker, they're narrow. They have got a license to roam as well. You can see him at the moment really wide in a kind of left back area, but he's a really, really good traveller with the ball, Scott, as you can see here. Good dribbler. He'll give you a goal threat. He gives you that creativity in that final third.
Here's Lundstrom going to unleash a strike from the edge of the box, but that one was dragged well wide as Dessers miscontrolled the initial pass to him, and it fell to John Lundstrom. And it was well off target.
So I see just on Scott Wright, you know, if you're someone from the touchline and you're watching Rangers playing and you're watching how narrow their front players play and they're lacking a bit of width and someone to go outside, see when he gets the ball, go and drive at people, go and take people on, so the manager might sit up and take notice and think, actually, he's doing something different than what the other players I've played in those positions have done.
And you know what it is? See, Scott, like, I think he's got maybe one of the only ones that's got the ability, can be inside or outside, so it gives you that flexibility within game that you can pose a different threat for a different area of the pitch as well.
Well, it's interesting because we've got Matondo on one side and Wright on the other, which is so different to how they started the season away to Kilmarnock when they lost their league opener, and they were criticised for all aspects of the performance, but you know, the lack of width, but maybe a sense of a bit of a change with two maybe more natural wide men Here's Ben Davis with the ball in his own half, gives it with the right foot along the deck to Barisic, who's going to play it with the left foot up the touchline. Dessers has made a run, McGinn marshalled him and then prods it out for a throw-in on this near side. Rangers leading by 1-0 here at Ibrox. Pass for Lammers, who's dropped into the centre circle. Pass towards Wright, who's come central onto Matondo. He's crowded out, but Scott Wright was caught belatedly, and Rangers will have a free kick in a central position about 30-35 yards out, and a chance, probably too far for a shot, but a chance to maybe for Tavernier or Barisic to whip one in. In fact, they've gone short. Alan Muir, the referee's not happy with that, and so Lundstrom, the referee's still not happy, much to John Lundstrom's frustration. And Paul McGinn is getting some words from Alan Muir, the referee, and we're still waiting for this free kick to be taken. Lundstrom goes short, gives it to Wright, who's gone with a long ranger with the right foot, but that one was always rising well over Liam Kelly's goal. And as we approach the half-hour mark, Rangers leading Motherwell by 1-0 here on Sports Sound. Aberdeen leading Ross County by the same scoreline. Rugby World Cup action later. Able to catch that. Scotland against Tonga with Andy Burt and Tom English and the guys. And here it's all about football. As O'Donnell wins the header for Motherwell, but Davis sweeps up, clears it forward. Dessers has dropped in, looked for the inside ball to Lammers, but Lennon Miller has it for Motherwell. Right-footed pass forward. Lundstrom covered, takes it towards the touchline, and a really nice touch away from Stephen O'Donnell. Motherwell have it back after it was given away. As O'Donnell gives it back to Slattery, who's all over the back of Borna Barisic with a handful of his shirt, and Barisic duly gets the free kick, looks to get on with it, gives it back to Davis, who moves it across the edge of the Rangers box for Goldson, who's going to go with a right foot to Matondo as Tavernier pushes on in front of him. Spittles across to meet Matondo, who comes in field and just gives it back to Goldson. Into Lundstrom in the centre circle, forward pass for Lammers in that number 10 position, but Payton is strong and nicks it off him, and here's Lennon Miller, gives it to Slattery through the legs of Barisic, but Lundstrom gets back. Really good strong sliding challenge. Motherwell will have the throw-in. In fact, it's come off Stephen O'Donnell last, and Barisic takes the throw-in for Rangers. It's across to Goldson. Rangers looking to just inject some more pace, as the guys were saying. And they've combined quickly. They have looked a threat, but not done it too often. And when they did, they got a wee bit of luck on the way with the deflection off Dessers, but it's led to the opening goal. But here's Lennon Miller facing his own goal in his own half, back to Mugabe, who's being put under pressure from Lammers, and he floats it out right to the far touchline. Spencer takes it nicely on the chest, but then missed a second connection, and Tavernier's right up against him, and Matondo comes across and makes the tackle. Out for a throw into Motherwell on the far side. 1-0 Rangers.
I'll tell you what, Motherwell are brave at times. You know, they're playing little risky balls in the midfield, but you know, Lennon Miller can handle the ball, Harry Payton can handle the ball. It's about linking your play, because if you come here and you just continually throw the ball to Theo Bear and hope you get something, you'll probably get nothing out of the game. So I said ahead of the game, you've got to take risks in certain areas to give yourself a chance to get up the pitch. They have got good footballers in the team. It's just that final thing with the ball, that final little bit of clinicalness that they're lacking at this moment in time. But certainly it's been a good game.
And Robbie Matondo is, well, thought he was away on the far side, but it's going to be a free kick. He's held back, and Rangers and Tavernier will take the shot eventually when they get it, but you know, it's a yellow card there for
Casey, yeah.
Casey, yeah, with a little pullback. I was wondering what Alan Muir was doing with his little notebook there. Dan Casey, the first yellow cards. And on we go. Rangers. Tavernier out to the far touchline in front of the Sandy Jardine stand. Matondo gives it to Cifuentes, and he's really struggling. Puts his arm up, hits the deck, and he did take a knock earlier. He was down on the turf for a while, but there was no one really near him there, and on come the physios, but it's all very slow at the moment. His stoppages in play. You would say that would help Motherwell usually, but obviously they're trailing by 1-0. 32 played, 13 to play in this first half. And Ravi Matondo is down over on the far side. Rangers in front, looking to leapfrog Motherwell on the Premiership table, going to third, point behind them when they came into this game. And they've lost the last 4 meetings against Rangers since getting a 2-2 draw here back in February 2022. They've acquitted themselves really well in this opening 32.5 minutes, but they trail after some neat play on the edge of the box. Rabbi Matondo's right-footed shot was deflected into the top corner by Cyril Dessers, and that's the difference between the sides. And Rangers, well, they might have to make a change here. You can see Michael Beale in deep conversation with his assistants down in front of us in the dugout.
I mean, we're talking about speeding the game up. Rabbi Matondo's getting treated on the touchline. Can they not just slide slightly off the touchline?
That half yard, you mean?
Yeah. And just allow the game to restart, because it's taken all kind of momentum out of the game. Rangers staff are able to have a conversation. They've got 5 players warming up, and now he's walking off the pitch. Motherwell, I can't believe the Motherwell players aren't asking the referee to get him off as quick as they can so they can play against 10.
Yeah, and he's back on his feet again, Rabbi Matondo, and it looks like there's no one stripped already to come on for Rangers, so it looks like he's going to be okay, but it's not really what Rangers want. And when they want to come here, they want to make it quick. They want to make teams move from side to side, you know, not getting a break. But I know if he's injured, I suppose, but he's fine to continue, so he does a little stretch as he jogs back onto the pitch, Rabbi Matondo, but we are underway again, and all that time will be added at the end of this first half. Goulson with a right-footed pass to Tavernier, gets it back across to Davis, on to Scott Wright, who's dropped really deep into his own half. Right-footed pass for Goulson, controls it, a couple of touches, right foot over to Tavernier. Spittle comes across to meet the Rangers captain. It's up the line to Matondo, who looks all right. Tavernier gets it back, he dinks up towards Dessers, who misses it completely. Got his body position wrong there, and then O'Donnell takes it inside Dessers, gives it back to Kelly, who's on the byline and doesn't get a great connection with it, clearance, but goes to Bear. Give him the benefit of the doubt and say that was a pass for Theo Bear, who controlled it on the chest. And here's McGinn in his own half. He's under pressure from Scott Wright, who's done really well, and McGinn wins it back, but illegally, says the referee Alan Muir. It'll be a Rangers free kick midway through the Motherwell half, slightly out towards this near side in front of us. 1-0 Rangers, nearly 35 minutes played.
Yeah, Stuart Kettle won't want his centre-backs dwelling on the ball there in the middle of the pitch and allowing the pressure come to Rangers, because they were under actually no pressure at the time. That was a chance to move the ball, either switch the play, because there was start getting opportunities to play behind. Just dwelling on the ball and allowing that pressure to come.
Here's Tavernier, right hand side, midway through the Motherwell half. Goulson, he's asking for options. He's putting his hand out in front of him, and then the option he picked was a risky one across the Ben Davis. Slattery didn't quite get there, fortunately for the Rangers centre half. And here is Goulson over halfway, right-footed pass to Tavernier, and he goes up the touchline towards Matondo, and he's come away with it. Matondo, he's out on the right hand side into the box, driving in towards the edge of the box. He's put it across about 8 yards out, but there was no one in a blue shirt waiting for a tap in. Rangers come back. Tavernier, Lammers twisting and turning away from Payton. Here's Matondo, right hand corner of the box. He's found Lammers, who's going to put the cross in, and it's saved by Kelly at the near post. It goes back to Lammers, is blocked by Casey, is behind for a goal kick. And I think the home fans and Sam Lammers are asking, was that not a corner? Alan Muir's pointed for the goal kick.
It definitely looked like a corner. It looked like it broke back to Lammers, and it was going to smash it back across the goal. And I think it was Casey would have been defending it. But it was good play again for Rangers on that right hand side. But I think Matondo's done. He's done. You might as well just get him off. This is the third time now that he's went down.
But if he's done, Kenny, why did he not just get off before and just try and let them make the change and move on? It's just so much time taken out the game for Rangers when they're trying to put Motherwell under pressure, and you can hear the crowd getting frustrated.
I mean, what I would say, it's the last thing they need is another player to be injured in that kind of forward area. Tom Lawrence missing today, Cantwell's out now. If Matondo goes down, whether Matondo's starting or whether he's on the bench, for me, he's a really, really strong impact player to come on and affect a game if you need to get a goal, or even when the game's starting to open up a little bit. So hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Yeah, he's on his feet certainly, Ravi Matondo. It would be a shame because he has looked brighter. There's a round of applause all around Ibrox in recognition of his contribution so far. It was his shot that was deflected in by Dessers, and of course his form has improved in recent weeks, and looks like it's going to be John Souttar that's going to come on. So perhaps
at right wing, yeah.
a change of shape. Surely. It's John Souttar that's going to come on for Rabbi Matondo. So
don't know. John Souttar play midfield.
I think they'll match up. I think they're just going to go that.
I just see Sam Lammers going out to the right hand side, Scott Wright possibly coming over the left hand side. I just wonder.
I would say it's a match up. I would just say Lammers and Scott Wright will be off Dessers. You'll have Barisic and Tavernier as your wing backs, with Cifuentes and Lundstrom at the bottom of there, and with they two, so that box midfield, an absolute match up with what Motherwell are doing.
Well, it's interesting. John Souttar is on. He's gone to the right.
So this is the back three that Michael had been talking about a lot towards the end of last season, and now it looks like we're going to see it now.
Yeah, interesting. As I said before, he wants Rangers to be flexible, tactical, but I suppose there's a balance between being changing too much. But this will be interesting, certainly. And Souttar is on, and on we go. Here's Payton, forced back by Cifuentes into his own half. He's turned though, and he's found Spittle, who's gone back to Casey. Controls with the right foot, and he's pinged the switch out to Stephen O'Donnell. Barisic is underneath it, heads it out for a throw-in in front of us as we sit in the main stand at Ibrox. Motherwell trailing by a goal to nil as we approach half-time, but they have been good. They have been good, Stuart Kettlewell sides. Rangers have certainly had a better of the ball, especially since going in front after 24 minutes. Here's Lennon Miller. Passes it over halfway to O'Donnell. Barisic wins the challenge. It comes back to Miller, up to Slattery, back to Miller, who gets a nudge from Cifuentes, wins it, the American, and he's fired it forward for Dessers. Mugabe intercepts, controls. Payton back to McGinn looks for Slattery. Davis came across, stepped in and nudges it out for another throw-in in front of us.
I just wonder, does it suit Motherwell now because Rangers have changed? Motherwell know their press, they know what their triggers are, when they should go, they know their positions in and out of possession. Rangers is probably something new to them. As much as he wants to play a back three, he's probably been forced upon it a little bit, Michael Beale, so it'll be interesting to see if Motherwell can gain any kind of advantage from it.
Here's Bevis Mugabe surging up to halfway. He's not. Pass wasn't convincing. Payton's tried to make something of it, and now here's Spittle, heavy touch. Tavernier wins the challenge. Now it's in through the lines for Cifuentes, moves away from Miller, just gets it away before the tackle comes into Tavernier, and Rangers have a bit of control as Souttar passes it across to Ben Davis. Looks for an option, has to go back. Motherwell, John Lundstrom was marshalled by 3 players there as he offered an option. Rangers go to the right hand side. Tavernier hugs the touchline. Again, he's forced back. Happens a lot so far. They try and go through the middle. It's picked off. Miller for Motherwell, up to Spittle, infield to Slattery, who's not going to get there ahead of Goldson. He nudges it along to Ben Davis, who again has to take so many touches before there's no obvious forward pass, so he has to go sideways to Barisic, gives it infield to Lundstrom, who's got the pitch ahead of him now, moves it out to Souttar, who's stepped over the halfway line, passes it to Tavernier on the right hand touchline, back to Souttar. Motherwell shuffling across towards us on the main stand as Rangers move the ball up to Wright, who's dropped in, back to Goldson. Motherwell are fairly content for Rangers to just recycle it around the fullbacks and centre halves as they look for the penetrating pass. Here's Goldson, moves up into Motherwell territory. He's asking for some movement. There's none forthcoming. He has to nudge it on to Davis. They are advanced though, as Dessers picks up. Mugabe was touch tight and was able to get a foot in and clear it out for a throw-in. Barisic will take it short to the feet of Wright, gets it back, moves it backwards up the touchline to Davis. It goes back to Goldson on halfway, across to Souttar in the centre circle. Again looks up for an obvious forward option, rolls it across to Davis, out to the left-hand touchline of Barisic, left-footed pass for Wright, takes a touch towards the touchline, has to go back to Davis, back again to Goldson, as Rangers just try and find a little gap, a little chink in Motherwell's armour. Souttar, Lundstrom given away, and then Lundstrom has no choice but to bring down Slattery. Alan Muir's playing advantage as Baer spreads it to O'Donnell, who's going to loop it to the back post where Spittle's making a run, but John Souttar got back in position and just nodded it back to Jack Butland, the goalkeeper. And now Rangers will move up the field through Cifuentes, Barisic, but Rangers had the ball for a long time there and weren't able to break through, and Motherwell were able to eventually nip in and get a counter. Didn't make the most of it though. They trail by a goal to nil, 42 played. Here comes Tavernier, forward on the right hand side, out to Lammers, who drops his shoulder, jinks in field, goes back out, back in, gives it to Lundstrom, corner of the box on the right hand side, moves it back to Suter, who's got a wee bit of space, then he's closed down, gives it to Lundstrom, who's hugging the touchline on the far side, and moves back to Suter, across to Goldson in the centre circle. Rangers almost adjusting to the new shape where the space is. And here's Lundstrom, comes forward, edge of the box, Barisic with a chance to cross, puts a step over in, will he get the cross away? Back to Davis, left-footed cross into the penalty area towards Lammers, edge of the box where Lundstrom is. It's given away to Bear as Motherwell look to launch the counter. Here's McGinn over to Slattery, and now Motherwell have it at the back. O'Donnell plays it long towards Bear, controls it on halfway, infield to Lennon Miller. And now it's with Spittle, who's threaded the pass through for Spencer, who's made the run. Tavernier's come across, made the challenge, out for a throw on the far side. Let's go to Pittodrie for an update from Willie Miller.
Yeah, it's another goal for Aberdeen. They go 2-0 up. Ross County totally unorganised at the corner kick. They left 1v2. Graham Shinney picking the ball up deep in his own half and running all the way up into Ross County penalty box. He then jinks and sets up Duke, and Duke slides the ball into the back of the net to give Aberdeen the second goal.
Well, first goal in 15 for Duke going back to last season. Breaks the duck. And Rangers, as we enter a final just over a minute, yet to see how much stoppage time is going to be added at the end of this first half, but it's Rangers leading by a goal to nil here on Sports Sound, BBC Radio Scotland, across the frequencies. And here's Suter. Rangers looking for a second, which would do real damage to Motherwell. Just before the break, it's a ball floated towards Dessers, but Liam Kelly commanded his penalty area, came a long way and plucked it out the sky. And now it's a pass forward for Slattery. Ben Davis with a good tackle. And Motherwell not threatened the Rangers penalty area for a while, you have to say. Floated for Dessers, who let it run across his body, and then McGabby's pulled his shirt there. And that's what the Rangers fans are complaining about. Dessers checks back, he's on the left-hand side, looks to nudge it in for right, and it's poor. And then the clearance still comes off the back of the Motherwell players. Dropped for Lammers, but it's a shocking first touch in the penalty area from the Rangers forward. It's stabbed behind for a corner in any case, but Motherwell causing their own problems there.
That was carnage there, absolute carnage for both teams again. It was reminiscent of that first really scrappy spell. Dessers has got a pass on, he turns it down, he gives it away, Motherwell regain it, they get it back. It breaks into Lammers, and Lammers has got to just take a touch and get a shot. He miscontrols it, and it ends up with a Rangers corner.
4 minutes to be added at the end of this first half. We've played 45, so we're going to have another 4 minutes here at Ibrox. Tavernier goes short to Scott Wright with a corner on this near side, out to Barisic, who checks, little dummy, and he's going to get it in with the left foot. It's low, Spencer gets something on it, it's going to come back out to Barisic, but he barges Lennon Miller over, shakes his head, the Croatian, felt it was just shoulder to shoulder, but it was Wiley from the 17-year-old midfielder who hits the deck, and now Barisic is having a word with him. Miller run. Yeah,
that must be one of the first players that Barisic has ever knocked out of the way. I always think he's too nice as a defender, isn't he? I mean, that's bullying. I mean, that wee boy's just out of school and he's knocking him over. That's a yellow card. But it is clever play by Lennon Miller.
Yeah, he just got his body in the way, and he's wise beyond his years, Lennon Miller. We've seen that already this season. And Liam Kelly takes the free kick long with the right foot. It's high into the Glasgow sky. Lundstrom wins the header, only as far as Payton for Motherwell. Now Slattery on this right hand side, he's been a bit quieter. He started really brightly. Forward for Spittle, right hand side, collects into the near post. Bear flicks it on, and Spencer lunged on the edge of the 6-yard box, and if he'd got something on that, that could have been an equaliser for Motherwell, but he missed it altogether and the chance is gone. Rangers come away with it. There's Lundstrom. The crowd unhappy with the defending there. And the rain now coming down. It's slipped through for Dessers. Good defending from Casey with strength to get it away to O'Donnell. And now Spittle has it. He's pursued closely by Lundstrom. He's managed to dink it up the touchline. Goldson came across and headed it away. It's out for a throw-in. 1-0 Rangers. That was a good chance for Motherwell.
And it was brilliant play, you know. It's exactly what kind of they've needed when you play in this system. The Slattery and the Spittles have to run in behind the fullbacks and the centre backs to give that option. Spittle does it on this occasion. I'll tell you, he does incredible to actually get the cross. It looks like it was just going to run out, but he hooks it in. Theo Bair across the front post, glances it on, and Tavernier defends Spencer really, really well at the back post. He just does enough just to edge him past the ball. Spencer claiming for a penalty, but it was really, really good defending for Tavernier.
And I think that's what Motherwell needed just before half-time. Just a little bit more confirmation of what they're trying to do. Just gives them another little bit of belief for Stewart to sell that message to them at half-time. Keep going, keep breaking from midfielders, opportunities there.
Well, we've played 2.5 of the 4 added minutes here at Ibrox in the first half. Rangers leading by a goal to 0. Motherwell have had some chances, though. Arguably had the better chances, but it's Rangers who have the advantage after Cyril Dessers deflected. He deflected the goal in. Here's Goldson at the back, controls it with the right foot, nudges it forward a couple of times up towards halfway, gives it to Davis, who passes across the halfway line to Barisic. He gives it back to Davis. He's moving away from Slattery infield to Lundstrom, who gives it first time to Wright, gets it straight back. Now it's Davis. It's better one-touch stuff from Rangers as the centre back Davis comes in from the left-hand touchline, gives it to Barisic, back infield to Wright, who's in a bit of space infield, and he switched it with the right foot over to James Tavernier, who's controlled it, but that's good, strong defending from Brad Spencer to get the challenge in. He's been impressive in this first half over on the left-hand side for Motherwell, just 19 years old. Throw in Lammers, right-hand corner of the box, and he's still got it. Lammers passes it back to Tavernier, up to Cifuentes on the edge of the box, takes it away, doesn't manage to get the shot away, and has to go backwards to Davis. Final minute or so of play here in the first half. Lammers puts the head down, he's going to strike it, beaten away by Kelly, and then Dessers on the follow-up hooks it wide of the target. And Rangers with a good chance just before the break to double their advantage.
And I think that's probably the first time either goalkeeper's been worked during the first half. You know, as much as we said Motherwell have some chances, they haven't really tested Jack Butland. Liam Kelly hasn't really been tested, and there's the half-time whistle.
Half-time at Ibrox, it's Rangers who have the advantage. It's not been wholly convincing, but they won't care at this stage. The deadlock was broken, the 24th minute. Rabbi Matondo on the edge of the box after some neat build-up play between the forwards. He put the head down, had a right-footed strike, and Cyril Dessers looked like he was trying to get out the way of it as it was flying towards the goal, but it hit off his foot and flew past Liam Kelly into the top corner. And that is the difference at the break. Rangers haven't had too many other opportunities. Probably the best of them was that one at the end there, where Lammers forced the save from Kelly and Dessers hooked the follow-up wide. Motherwell have had a few opportunities, so especially in the opening 10 minutes. Harry Payton had a shot just wide. Slattery had a chance in the box, which you would maybe expect him to do better. Couldn't find the far corner. And then just a few moments ago in first half stoppage time, a brilliant Blair Spittle cross, which Brad Spencer was inches away from connecting with on the edge of the 6-yard box. Had he have done so, it might have been a different scoreline. But at half-time here at Ibrox in this Premiership match, it is Rangers 1, Motherwell 0.
Football from Sports Sound.
Brilliant drop of the shoulder.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Join me, Mark Stephen, for my next port of call on Our Story.
I was in primary 7. It was my first trip away from my parents.
Former Scottish school children share memories of their voyages on the SS Uganda.
The crew were hosing down. I won't say what they were hosing down, but they were hosing down the decks.
Discover just where their travels on the former educational cruise ship took them.
Singing in St Michael's Caves in Gibraltar. Awesome. And you were given 1 ruble to spend.
And why it became an important life experience.
Just realising that there was much more out there.
It stuck with me enough to build a model of the ship.
That's Our Story. Listen now on BBC Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon. Our commentary game, Rangers 1-0 up against Motherwell at half-time. Here at Pittodrie, it is 2-0 for Aberdeen against Ross County. Keep you up to date with the scores from down south in a moment or two, but let's get Willie Miller's thoughts on the first 45 minutes here at Pittodrie.
I would say it's a strange old first 45 minutes here, Richard, to be perfectly honest. Aberdeen were very, very poor in the early part first. Up until they got the goal, actually. It was all about Ross County. They dominated possession. They didn't create much in terms of clear chances, but Aberdeen were barely in Ross County's half. But they did get that breakthrough in 21 minutes. It was Bojan Majowski who got the final touch, a rather easy side foot into the back of the net. A little bit good fortune to it as well. It was a corner from the right hand side that was played into the middle of the goal. The ball popped up in the air. Jensen it was that had the overhead kick, and it fell very kindly to Majowski, who was looking at the back post, and he just put his side foot through it and it went into the back of the net. Aberdeen then began to take a bit of control. Shinnie very influential in the midfield, a lot of very positive drives from him running at the Ross County defence, and he set up Duke with one of them, and Duke just managed to take it, turn his defender, got himself 1v1 against Laidlaw. But yeah, again, that's about third opportunity he's had, similar situation, not in this game but during the season, and he hasn't managed to finish. It was a decent save from Laidlaw, that could have made it 2, but it was 2, and just dreadful organisation from Ross County. They're in the attack, they've got a corner, the corner comes in, it's cleared, they've left one player at the back halfway into the Aberdeen half. Shinnie picks the ball up and basically runs from 35-40 yards all the way into just outside the Ross County box unchallenged, and then he sets up Duke, who did have a challenge come in on him, but he managed to slip the ball into the back of the net past Laidlaw to give Aberdeen that second goal. Majowski just on half time had a strike, very good strike from outside the box. It just whizzed by the far post. They say goals change games. That's certainly the occasion here, because Aberdeen haven't been at their best, but they find themselves in a very comfortable 2-0 lead here at half time.
Yeah, a really strange afternoon, and we were just chatting about it, Willie. The atmosphere is somewhat funereal within Pittodrie this afternoon. It's just whether the fans have got a European hangover or not, I don't know, but it just doesn't have that buzz to it. But my goodness, the players have been clinical, and I suppose that's one thing that Aberdeen have been accused of in the past, of failing to do that. They have taken those 2 chances, and County, despite the fact that they have dominated large chunks of the game, simply haven't been able to make the breakthrough. So a 2-0 advantage for Aberdeen as they look to clinch their first league win of the season. It's a busy old day down in the English Premier League. All these matches deep into stoppage time. Arsenal 2, Spurs 2, Romero own goal and Saka for Arsenal, double for Spurs. Brighton heading to victory against Bournemouth. They conceded to Dominic Solanke early in that game, but Kerke's own goal levelled it up, and Mitoma has scored a double in the second half. Brighton heading for another win there. It's Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 1. Gusto sent off for Chelsea on the hour mark. Ollie Watkins has got the only goal so far. Brighton 3, Bournemouth 1 confirmed. There's a full-time scoreline. At Anfield, 4 minutes of stoppage time played. Liverpool 3, West Ham United 1. Salah from the penalty spot, Jared Bowen levelled it up, but Nunes and Jota have scored the goals, for Liverpool in the second half, and they seem to be heading to victory in that one as well. A reminder, you can see Sport Scene tonight, 7:15, BBC Scotland channel, all the highlights from the weekend's Premiership action. The Scottish Football Podcast Monday to Friday. You've got the Scottish Cup live on Monday night, University of Stirling against Albion Rovers, 7 o'clock on BBC Scotland channel. Sportsound live both Tuesday and Wednesday of the League Cup quarter-finals. Kilmarnock Hearts on Tuesday, and Wednesday it's Rangers Livingston, Ross County Aberdeen and Hibernian St Mirren. And also on Tuesday night, the Scottish women's national team in action against Belgium, Nations League, BBC Scotland live on the telly. So much to look forward to, and of course throughout the week you'll find out the very latest Scottish football news, bbc.co.uk/sportscotland. A reminder, we are going to be offering up live Rugby World Cup action, Scotland playing Tonga. We'll give you details of how you can listen into that in just a moment or two. Let's just get reflections from Ibrox, where, well, certainly at the time Rangers scored, it seemed very similar, Kenny Miller, to the game here at Pittodrie, where the home side had gone in front, despite the opposition probably having the better of the game.
Sorry, Richard. Kenny's still famous around Ibrox. He's just signing a couple of autographs.
Unbelievable.
He's just arrived back. You'll have to ask him that
back
question
in action. No, back in action. Selfies, Kenny. Selfies, autographs, the whole gamut.
Yeah, it was a full shebang thereafter, just coming back to the toilet there.
Sure it was. No, I mean, it's so difficult getting back. No, I just, it seemed, going by listening to the commentary, that it was similar there at Ibrox than it was at Pittodrie, where the home side were perhaps not quite in the ropes, but certainly the away side having the better of the game, but the home side taking the lead.
No, they were. I think, I'm really impressed with Motherwell and how they've went about their business, and I thought that it's the first time I've seen Lennon Miller live, and he's been absolutely excellent for a lad at 17. The composure, the awareness, the rangy passing. But from a Rangers perspective, they're winning 1-0, probably a little bit against the run of play in terms of the chances and the better opportunities and better attacking play in the first half. But it's again, you've got to take the positives out of it. They're 1-0 up. They can only get better in the second half to me. So Michael will be in there again, probably similarly like he was on Thursday night. It's not really kind of reading a riot act, but it's trying to get a reaction out of his team to get out and perform better. They have had to change their shape, obviously, with Abby Matondo going off and John Souttar coming off, but I think it can suit them as well. But Motherwell at this moment seem to be a lot more comfortable playing it, particularly in an attacking sense, than what Rangers are in that last kind of 10-15 minutes of the first half. But yeah, a lot of improvement still to come from a Rangers point of view. But for Stuart Kettlewell, he'll be looking for more of the same, and it's just, can they take, or can they create that better opportunity to get them back into the game and really ask a question of Rangers.
But Rangers lead 1-0 thanks to Cyriel Desser's third goal of the season. Miovski and Lopez on target here. Sixth for Miovski, first of the season for Lopez, and Aberdeen 2-0 up against Ross County. Now, we have got a choice of listening for you right now in Sports Sound. The football will continue with commentary from Ibrox. Rangers against Motherwell. There'll be updates from Aberdeen against Ross County. All that to come on BBC Radio Scotland 92 to 95 FM and BBC Sounds. If you'd like to listen to Scotland against Tonga in the Rugby World Cup, you can tune in to BBC Radio Scotland on digital 810 medium wave and BBC Radio Scotland Extra on BBC Sounds. So this is
Sports Sound, live commentary from the Scottish Premiership.
Online at BBC Sports Scotland. There's no substitute.
So this is Sports Sound half-time in the two Premiership matches, the two home sides with the advantage as things stand. We'll be heading back for live commentary from Ibrox shortly. Aberdeen do have the advantage. Willie Miller, will Malky Mackay be pleased with what he's seen from his team, and will he still believe they can get something out of this, do you think?
I think he'll be happy with how his players have went about it. Maybe a little bit too open at times, but they have had quite substantial control of the ball. It must be raging at the second goal, Richard, the organisation. It's their corner kick, and he's got one defender maybe 15 yards in to the Aberdeen half from their own halfway line. No one else actually prepared to give any cover, and the ball breaks out to Shinnie, and Shinnie picks it up 35 yards or so, and he runs a whole length of the pitch before setting up Duke. So you've got to be disappointed with the organisation at a set piece. That just simply should not happen, particularly when you're still in the game. It's only one goal in it, and you haven't had too many chances yourself. They had the one opportunity. Ryan Leake had the header that just went by the post from a corner kick, but I think he'll be pleased with the amount of possession they've had, but he'll be disappointed with the scoreline as it stands. Barry Robson will be absolutely delighted. These two main strike men getting on the end of the goals as well. I thought the Miovski one, he's taking up a good position at the back post, but he's a little bit fortunate that Jensen's overhead kick just falls delightfully for him. And then, as I said, that breakaway goal for Duke. He had another chance, Duke, that he should have slotted away 1v1 with the goalkeeper, but doesn't show the composure. He's done that on a number of occasions now. I think that's the third occasion that I can remember that he's been right through with opportunities just against the goalkeeper, and he hasn't had the composure to finish. So Barry Robson will be delighted with the scoreline, particularly in the back of the European game midweek. I think Malky Mackay, I think he'll be ruined, particularly that second goal, and the lack of organisation his team had.
Yeah, it was incredible to see, well, so many Aberdeen players rampaging towards goal. And eventually, after, well, I mean, it took his time, but eventually Lopez did find the net for his first of the season. Aberdeen would remain in 11th place in the table, but they'd be back to within touching distance of, well, half a dozen teams just above them. So big 45 minutes ahead for County. Can they turn it round, or will Aberdeen move on and pick up that first league win of the campaign? And a big 45 minutes to come at Ibrox. Dessers with a goal, third of the season. Rangers are 1-0 up against Motherwell. They would be moving into third place in the table if they see that through and pick up a fourth win in 6 Premiership matches. Remember all the highlights tonight, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. There will be extended action from both of these games at Ibrox and Pittodrie, and highlights too from the matches from yesterday, which of course resulted in wins for Celtic, Hibernian and St Mirren, and the draw at Danes between Dundee and Kilmarnock. Teams back out here at Pittodrie. Ross County looking for a fast start after the interval to try to get back into it. Aberdeen, of course, hoping to maintain or even extend their advantage. Willie will keep you right up to date. Anything that happens here, you'll hear about it right here in Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, where we're heading back to Ibrox for live second half commentary. Rangers 1, Motherwell 0. Stephen Craigan, Kenny Miller and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Richard. Well, Motherwell's unbeaten away record in the Premiership under Stuart Kettlewell certainly under threat here, trailing by a goal to 0, but that belies the performance of the first half. I'm sure Stuart Kettlewell will be reinforcing that his team are well in this game, and they just need to try and retain some sort of composure in the final third when they do get the ball, because they have had enough of it to cause Rangers problems. And I'm sure for Rangers it'll be about trying to get that third win on the spin and build on the first half. They have the lead, so that anxiety around that is over as Motherwell just emerged from the tunnel just in front of us. The away fans over in the corner on the far side stand up and applaud. They like a lot of what they've seen in this first half, but they do have it all to do because Rangers have the advantage. Still no sign of the Rangers team. Of course, they were forced into that change midway through the first half. John Souttar came on for Rabbi Matondo as Rangers just emerge in front of us. And I suppose, Kenny, Rangers have the lead, and that's what matters. It's the scoreline. But what would you like to see better from in this second half?
Listen, I think they need to be better all over the pitch. I mean, I think Motherwell exposed a few gaps in their back line. I think the distances there are there to be exposed, to be honest with you, and they have done it, Motherwell, in the first half. Offensively, again, they try and play through the middle sometimes, and it's really clogged up with the Motherwell jerseys. And when the ball does go wide, they have got good delivery for Barisic and Tavernier, but there's not a lot of threat in the box. You know, it's Dessers and maybe one other. So you need to try, if you're going to play that way, you need to get more bodies in the box to cause the Motherwell players problems. So I think there's a lot of improvements can come for a Rangers perspective in this half. Again, different shapes, so it'll be something they need to adjust to.
Well, Rangers get us underway, and I suppose from a Motherwell point of view, Stephen, it's just same again, but can you nick something?
It is, but I just think there's a few occasions where they were a little bit slack in possession, you know, particularly when they're trying to build their player. They get themselves into the middle third or the top third. They play a risky pass, or they put the ball at risk. They don't need to. You know, sometimes just feed the ball on. I'd like to see a few more diagonal balls as well. I think that's where they can get success with Spittle and with Slattery either side breaking in behind. Don't be frightened to throw it in behind. Plus, with their shape, I think they might just get the edge on Rangers. Rangers are probably still trying to suss out how they work it and who should run forward. Mother will know it.
Here's Davis right on the far left-hand side, gets it back from Barisic, goes back to Goldson. Rangers in control on the scoreboard, but Motherwell far from done as Bear eventually gets to Goldson to close him down. He nudges it back to Butland, who passes it out to Souttar. Forward first time to Lammers, back to Tavernier, but Motherwell still willing to run and close Rangers down in their own half. There's been a goal at Pittodrie, Willie Miller.
Yeah, it's a third goal for the Dons. Ripped Ross County open. Some poor defending, but excellent play from Aberdeen. Johnny Hayes setting in Bojan Miovski down the right hand side. Jamie McGrath in the middle of the goal. The cross comes in. He's just simply got to tap it into the back of the net. Excellent goal for Aberdeen. No way back for County now. Aberdeen 3, Ross County 0.
Aberdeen on their way to a first league win of the season as Rangers come forward here. Here's Scott Wright. He's going to go for the shot. Dummies. Gives it to Lammers, who goes with a left-footed strike, but there was no pace behind it, and Liam Kelly was able to just stand and collect that comfortably.
He actually takes up a good position, Scott Wright, but Motherwell have got 3 central defenders marking 1 centre forward. So whatever side Scott Wright's on, if it's on Rangers left, Paul McGuinness got to step in. If it's on Rangers right, Dan Casey's got to step in. They can't allow him to turn face up and make his pass.
Slattery picks up Goldson's header. Motherwell just inside the Rangers half. Ball fizzed into Spittle, who's controlled it well and moved it off to Slattery on the right nicely. It's infield. I think he was looking for Bear, but it went to O'Donnell, and then O'Donnell's given it away. Lammers almost lost out in the tackle, but is able to get it back, and he nudges it away from Lennon Miller. Payton is in there, but Lammers keeps possession, gives it to Suter, onto Tavernier. Now Lundstrom bang on halfway. He's across the halfway line, but Theo Bear comes back, forces him to move it on to Lammers, who moves it to Cifuentes. Good first time pass to Wright. Bevis McGavie steps in, goes for the tackle to take it away from Wright, but he's fouled him. Rangers free kick, 25 yards or so from goal, fairly central, and a chance maybe for one James Tavernier to step up and have a hit at this one.
I would suggest it's probably a little bit too far out for the direct hit. He'll probably be looking to kind of put it into that area, just in behind the Motherwell backline and in front of Liam Kelly, the goalkeeper, just to ask his defenders, the Lammers, the Souters, Dessers, Golson, who's moving his way forward now, to go and attack it.
It's Barisic and Tavernier, the usual suspects, over the ball in deep conversation. Motherwell just getting themselves organised. Slattery and Payton getting some instructions from Liam Kelly, the 2-man wall. Looking at our goalkeeper, rather Bermuse midley, and here's Tavernier to take with the right foot. Now he steps over it. It's going to be Barisic with the left foot, lofts it to the back post, but it's far too hard, and it just drops straight out for a goal kick to Motherwell.
Yeah, I just think from that kind of central-ish area, it's always moving away from the players, you know, when you're hitting that. James Tavernier can start it close to the goalkeeper and bring it back towards his players. He's probably better one to actually serve that into that dangerous area there, Tavernier. But listen, goal kick to Motherwell, chance gone.
And they go short, Motherwell. Rangers get the press on in the Motherwell box. It's back to Kelly, who says enough's enough and puts the right foot through it. Bear wins the first header, but doesn't go to a teammate, goes to James Tavernier, who's in the centre circle. Now passes it over halfway. He's found the run of Dessers. Flag stays down for now. Tries to take it over Kelly, who gets the save, and then the flag does go up. He did look offside initially, and that'll be a Motherwell free kick.
Yeah, looked well offside again. It was a decent run and a good pass forward, but I think he's just went too early. Listen, it's not as obvious as what first thought. He's just working off Mugabe, but he's just went probably a couple of yards too early.
And here come Motherwell. And that's McGinn's run. Loses out as he was midway through the Rangers half, and it'll be the home side who come away. Dessers on halfway, chops back, then spreads the play over to Suter, who crosses the halfway line with the ball. Right-footed pass to Tavernier on the right-hand side. He's going to stand up Spencer, then just passes it infield to Suter, who goes for the cross to the back post, and Dessers is after it, but he's not going to get there. Behind for a goal kick. Rangers lead by a goal to nil. We've just about played 50 minutes here at Ibrox, live on Sportsound.
The one thing that's been made quite clear at the start of the second half, when Rangers won the ball back, they missed the pace of Matondo in that transition. Everything has to be, it's been Lammers, it's been Dessers now, who have both had opportunities where they could go forward, but it's always just having to come back. It allows the Motherwell players to kind of funnel back and snuff out the danger. And losing that pace in that moment is really, really key for Rangers.
Sorry, just talking on the Dessers one, that if he's going to play on Bevis McGavie and Rangers are playing forward, if Dan Casey steps forward into Lammers, he's got to work that channel. Where Paul McGinn steps into Scott Wright, he's got to work that channel. So he's got to be clever, stay central and work into the space that's left for you.
And that's the dangers of this shape. Something that Motherwell have done really, really well in that first half, working in these kind of little areas and into the space that gets left for the centre backs or the full backs or the wing backs, sorry. And that opportunity, Dexter just went too early. He had worked it really well off Mugabe.
Here's Davis up to Scott Wright, who's making his first start since Michael Beale took charge after the World Cup break last season. He's played a couple of minutes before starting, and there's been another goal at Pittodrie. Willie Miller.
There's a fourth for Aberdeen, running riot now. Duke and Majowski. Duke drives himself into the box. He's under a little bit of pressure. The ball falls behind him. He manages to get a little back heel flick on it, puts it in the path of Majowski, who with the left foot rifles it into the back of the net. Past Laidlaw and goal to give Aberdeen that 4th goal.
Well, Aberdeen in cruise control at Pittodrie. Rangers have certainly not done the job here yet. 51 played, leading Motherwell by a 1-0. And Slattery with a free kick in his own half, thought about going quickly and pinging it out towards us on this near side, but he's left it for Paul McGinn to go short to Mugabe, who then in turn goes across to his centre-half partner Casey and goes back to Liam Kelly. Motherwell dropping a bit. It's a nice pass for Kelly between the two Rangers forwards for Mugabe, out to McGinn on the right hand side. Bear controls it on the thigh for Slattery, who takes a tumble, gets the free kick, foul by Connor Goldson. Motherwell free kick just inside the Rangers half. 52 played, 1-0 Rangers.
It's just not a good look for Rangers, I think. When the ball goes back to Liam Kelly, Dessers is gone, Lammers is gone, and then they just pass it around Mugabe and then out to Stephen O'Donnell on the far side, and Dessers turning around and asking where his teammates are. You know, it just suggests that you're not on that same page.
Here's Barisic as Rangers went quickly from a throw-in, and he's chipped it up the touchline to Dessers, who's controlled it. He's just got it away at the second attempt to Wright, who's done really well to weave his way up in the direction of the halfway line and give it to Cifuentes, who's spread it to the right hand side in Tavernier. Spencer's coming back, Tavernier crosses for Lammers, flashes wide, first time shot, volley, and that would have been some finish had it flown into the corner, but it didn't, and it's still Rangers 1, Motherwell 0.
That's a great counter-attack from Rangers, it really is. Motherwell overcommit, they get themselves caught up the pitch, and it just takes 1 or 2 passes. Suddenly there's a lot of ground for James Tavernier to go and work in. It's a lovely first time ball in. You know, when you think about strikers and goals and what they've scored, I think he scored 3 goals in the last 2 years, and you can see he's just not on that same wavelength, but that could have been the game.
Yeah, he took it first time right out of the air, and it wasn't a million miles away. Sam Lammers. It's Motherwell will come forward. McGinn looks for Slattery, but it goes behind. I'm wondering, Kenny, as a former striker yourself, are you able to pinpoint exactly what Desser's strengths are? Because I think it's difficult to see exactly what, you know, if you're wanting different options from your different forwards, what's his thing? Yeah, well, listen, I'm not too sure at this moment in time. There's one thing for sure, he's low on confidence. I would say Dessers is more of an all-round player. I mean, I don't think he links the game particularly well, but he's got a decent enough size that he could be a target. I don't think he's lightning quick, but he's a strong enough runner. And at this moment in time, I think he's toiling, like a lot of the Rangers players at the moment, for their best form. Well, I think, put it this way, if he was 5 goals in 5 games, I don't think he celebrates that with a knee slide, that goal, just quite the way he did. But he has scored. He is the difference between the sides at the moment, Cyril Dessers. And that's why Motherwell are trying to get back in this game. But here's Tavernier on halfway, takes a touch, loops it over Spencer, looking for Cifuentes. Payton gets in, but has to concede the throw-in. Tavernier asks for the ball quickly, throws it quickly to Lammers. His touch wasn't wholly convincing. It allowed Motherwell to get in and win the ball, but Rangers have it back through Lundstrom into Wright. Again, he's closed down quickly as Slattery goes into battle, and then Wright clearly pulls the shirt of Callum Slattery, and that'll be a Motherwell free kick.
Do you know, he's a good player, Callum Slattery, and I'm not one to move him on from Motherwell, but I think he's as good, if not better, than what Aberdeen have in midfield, what Hibs have in midfield at times, what Hearts have in midfield. So there's no doubt clubs that will be looking at him. Motherwell as a team in the second half, they haven't been as cohesive or as joined up as what they were in the early stages of the first half. Whether that's because the Rangers' shape has spooked them a little bit and they're trying to work out where their space is now, but certainly they have to get better.
Spittle looks to thread it through for Spencer. Tavernier's tussling with the full back, and he's actually lost out Tavernier, but the whistle went. Alan Muir bails out the Rangers captain. It's, well, Spencer's appealing to Alan Muir, saying, it's just, you know, I've just won the ball. Does he have a little pull at him here? Maybe he does have the hand round the back, but
that's very kind, very, very kind of James Tavernier and the Rangers. It was 2 players going shoulder to shoulder and trying to grapple for their space and trying to get their yard, and because of the legs of young Brad Spencer, he managed to get in front of him. So I think that's a big let off.
Yeah, because Brad Spencer was literally free in the box with a strike at goal if Alan Muir didn't blow that whistle. And here goes Rangers. Davis back to Butland. And here goes Suter to Cifuentes, Tavernier. And here's Goldson into the feet of Scott Wright, and Rangers trying to get on the front foot, but again they're forced backwards. Here's Scott Wright, checks back, moves across to Goldson. Lammers points for Cifuentes to move away from him. Here's Suter to Lammers, who drops into the halfway line. Then a first-time pass from Suter to Cifuentes, and he stood it in behind for Dessers, who gets a touch away from Liam Kelly. And he went down, hit the deck, and the flag goes up for offside. And Cyril Dessers looks at the referee in disbelief, but a decision is made. The flag is up. Hard to tell from this angle in any case whether it was a foul. And Alan Muir with the hand in the air. Rangers getting a bit of joy going direct there.
I think he'll take some encouragement from that. You know, I know he's gone early with the one that happened 4 or 5 minutes ago, and he's went slightly early with that one, but he now knows in his mind if he just times his run, if he's just patient that little bit more, he can get himself in behind.
Well, there's a delay with a check in the background, I suppose.
I don't even think it's a penalty, by I think Liam Kelly pulls out it, so I don't even think there's any contact on Dessers. I think he needs to go that little bit early to Norris's team, because he knows he's not got the pace. You know, so he's just trying to buy that. But if he keeps doing that, he's continually going to run offside. But like you say, he is moving it well off the centre back. This is the way the system is with Lammers and Wright occupying the left and right centre backs. He's got a real opportunity to work off Mugabe.
Yeah, play on as the check has been completed. Let's play on. Liam Kelly will take the free kick. Edge of his own box, right foot. He's going to go out to Stephen O'Donnell, but Barisic gets a foot on it, and then there's a late challenge on Scott Wright by Lennon Miller, who's going to get booked as he gives away the free kick. Motherwell just not going away, Stephen Craigan.
No, they're not, and that's the fear for Rangers, that they don't get the second goal, and Motherwell start to grow in confidence a little bit more. They start to grow in belief that, you know, the fans are still getting a little bit agitated, because they know 1-0, that they've been here before so many times, and there's a few sloppy passes, and Dessers is running off. So just little things agitate people when they're not content fully with their team. So if Motherwell can just hang in for as long as they possibly can, then you just never know. And
it's Rangers' job to put them away. You know, it's not Motherwell's job to go away. It's Rangers' job to go and say, you know what, we're 1-0 up at Ibrox in front of our fans. We are a bigger club with more resources. Let's go and put them away.
Yeah, it's not been what they'd have wanted in the opening nearly 14 minutes here in the second half. It's fairly tepid stuff. Lammers, with a difficult chance, you have to say, on the volley, took it well, but it flashed past the post.
He actually did. You know, it was a wonderful effort. That's on his weaker foot as well, but he's shown he is strong on that right foot with the shot at the end of the first half as well, and that technique on the volley was excellent.
Here's Dessers with a chance to turn in the Motherwell half, and he's pinged out the switch to Barisic on the left. O'Donnell goes out to meet Barisic, and then Barisic helps it down the touchline to Scott Wright, but again the pass just doesn't go to feet, and Motherwell are able to defend, and it's moved infield to Mugabe, who puts the right foot through it, up to Slattery, who controls it wonderfully on the chest, and he's won the free kick as Ben Davis lunged in from behind. As you say, guys, both touching it. He's a great player to watch, Callum Slattery. Good touch, uses his body well.
He's all action, you know. He gets himself into the box, he gets involved in midfield, he doesn't mind the physicality, he's got a lovely little touch. At times he can just be a little bit sloppy and sometimes take too many touches, but at 24 years of age he hasn't really played regularly throughout his career. So I think now, when he's had a run of games and he's taken on the responsibility that Kevin Van Veen has left, I think he's certainly improving.
Yeah, his contract's up at the end of this season. Motherwell, I'm sure, will be desperate if they can to get him to sign another one. Here's free kick against Rangers midway through their own half. The fans frustrated, and this is the kind of opportunity Motherwell are looking for as they search for a way back in this game. They've played an hour at Ibrox. Rangers still leading courtesy of that Dessers goal. He deflected in Ravi Matondo's shot after 24 minutes. That's the difference still here. Aberdeen 4-0 up at Pittodrie against Ross County, on course for a first league win of the season. And if it's the rugby you're after, it's over on Extra on 810 medium wave. It's all about football here on Sports Sound, on FM, on Sounds. As Motherwell have a free kick, and it's going to be Spittle out on the far side, just in field to take, and he slipped as he's hit it, and it's hit off the one-man wall. Scott Wright, who's scrambled across to clear it, out for a throw-in, and that you can see Stuart Kettlewell just looking down at the ground in dismay, or that touch of misfortune that befell Blair Spittle there as he slipped as he looked to swing that in. It's back with Liam Kelly, the goalkeeper. Long looks for Spittle, who jumps Payton picks up the second ball. O'Donnell around the corner to Slattery. Lovely couple of touches. Then gets the pass away to Spittle. Looks for the low right-footed cross, but it's blocked by Davis. Throw in on the far side in front of the away fans, and a chance for Motherwell to put some pressure on again.
I think they found their groove in the last 4 or 5 minutes. They're starting to connect their play again. You know, sometimes all it takes is a midfield player just to make a couple of simple passes, and players find themselves in familiar positions. Now they're building up a head of steam, but they have to create that big chance.
Throw-in comes in from Stephen O'Donnell, and just inside the box. It's now to the edge of the area, and Casey, who's up there, he just keeps hold of the ball using his strength, but has to go backwards. It's now to Brodie Spencer on the far side, and then it's crossed into the box, headed away by Bear. Came off Bear and out the box. Spencer gives it back to Payton, who's then looked to switch it to the right hand side. Slattery's lost out as Barisic read it and stepped in, and now Rangers look for the counter. Lovely turn by Lammers. He's moved it forward to Cifuentes midway through the Motherwell half. There's so many claret and amber jerseys there as Dessers goes after it, and the flag goes up. Cyril Dessers knew he was offside because he wasn't even running towards the ball, he was walking towards it, because he knew as soon as he touched it, the flag would go up, and it did.
And you can hear this is exactly what we're talking about pre-game, and even now at 1-0 you can just feel the 50,000. There's a little bit of nerves kicking in because it's still 1-0 just after the hour mark. Dessers has now been 3 offside in the last 5 minutes. You know, I would say to them, I think Cifuentes could get the pass away to him earlier, but again, it doesn't change the fact of how the mood is inside the stadium at this moment.
Yeah, Motherwell certainly had the better of the last 5, 6, 7 minutes or so, and it's McGinn with a throw in over on the far side. He's looking for options. Veteran defender finds Slattery, who's always willing to show for it. Gets it back and gives it to Lennon Miller. Bear looks to the first time pass, but it wasn't really on. Skewed it away. It's back with Mugabe, who goes long with the left foot. And Bear looked offside, and he didn't chase after it in any case, and Barisic nudges it back to Jack Butland. And then he's now got it back from Davis on the left-hand touchline in line with the edge of his own box. Borna Barisic, but again, there's no forward pass on, so he has to go back to Davis, and Davis has to go long. Lammers will win the flick on, but Harry Payton read it and collects on the halfway line. Now it's for Slattery over on the right-hand side. He's spotted a little bit of space in field, and John Lundstrom flew into a challenge and won the ball cleanly, and it set his team on the front foot with Lammers. Out to Dessers, into the box. Can he get the shot away? Can. Saved by Kelly. Excellent fast break from Rangers, but Liam Kelly did his job as Lundstrom nicks the ball in midfield once again. Here's Cifuentes. Tavernier up towards the edge of the box with Lammers. He's into the penalty area, controls it on the left foot, then dummies, gets the shot away on the right foot, and Kelly's put it away. And it's still on for Lammers on the byline, left foot, hammers it, comes off Casey, behind for a corner, and suddenly this place has come to life because Rangers have come to life.
And they've come to life by Motherwell turning the ball over, John Lundstrom twice intercepting and setting Rangers away on the attack. And I must say, it's 2 incredible saves, big saves for Liam Kelly. Firstly with Dessers, who just tries to drill it across Liam Kelly and into the far corner, probably hits it straight at him, but the Lammers shot, he just chops it onto his right foot, and it looks like it might be flying into the roof of the net, but a strong right hand for Liam Kelly keeps it out of his goal.
Yeah, that's what captain, you want your captain to step up. Brilliant from Liam Kelly. 2 good saves, and Rangers have a corner though to try and keep the pressure up, because that's as good as we've seen them in this second half. They have the lead, but they want more. Barisic with a left-footed corner, he's gone all the way to the back post. Rangers head on it, but Liam Kelly commands the 6-yard box, gets 2 hands on it, and he's not hanging about as he puts boot to ball and sends Payton scampering after it, but John Lundstrom goes back and knocks it back to Jack Butland.
He's got excellent distribution, Liam Kelly, but you've got to know your players, Stephen, haven't you?
But also with John Lundstrom, you know, people talk about him and his influence on the team. Incredible change of pace to get himself back into shape. You can just tell by the applause that was reverberating around the stadium, just appreciates what he's done, because the last 3 or 4 minutes he's been the one individual driving the team forward.
I was like that tackle, it was a crunching tackle, but he won the ball cleanly. But he just, something just like that sometimes just sparks a crowd into life, sparks a team into life, and it seems to have done the business. It was a really good tackle from the midfielder, and he was at the heart of the action. But here come Motherwell again. Here's Miller, he's under pressure from Cifuentes, goes back to Paul McGinn, and then goes back to Liam Kelly, all the way back in the Motherwell box. 66 played. Rangers still leading, courtesy of that first half goal from Cyril Dessers. Aberdeen 4-0 up at home to Ross County. We'll move on to the League Cup quarter-finals. Sportsound will bring you action on Tuesday. And here come Motherwell though, ball through for Theo Bair, and he's outpaced Goldson for now. Goldson gets back, but it's still Bair, he's inside the box, looks for the reverse pass for Miller. Should he have pulled the trigger? It goes behind for a goal kick. And, well, he's got his hands on his head, Theo Bair, at the edge of the box. I'm not sure what he was trying to do there.
You know, he's waiting for the run for Lenny Miller, but he must see that he's got the legs on Goldson on the initial pass. He just needs to drive straight towards the goal, past Connor Goldson, and get a shot off.
But even when he comes inside, he's got the full goal to aim at. You know, you talk about strikers not scoring goals or lack of goals because you're not taking opportunities that are presented to you. That was a huge opportunity for Motherwell.
Yeah, well, he's only got one at St Johnstone last season, one so far this season. And the Rangers are going to make a couple of changes here. Abdullah Sima is coming on for Scott Wright. And Dessers also makes way for Ryan Jack. So Nico Beale is trying to get some fresh impetus in this final 23 minutes plus stoppage time that we've got left to play here at Ibrox, because Motherwell, as we've just seen with that Bair chance, they've been in quite the ascendancy, but they've been just as good in this second half as they were in the first. Rangers looking to kill them off.
I must say, I mean, Stuart Kettlewell, whatever the result becomes towards the end of this game, he's got to take great credit for the way his team's performed. And I even think when you look at the changes and things that Rangers have made, they've went for like 4 attacking players in Matondo and Dessers and Wright and Lammers now, and now they're only down to 2. They're down to Sima and Lammers up front. The rest of the players are probably, if you look at them, maybe more defensive minded. That kind of tells you how strong and good Motherwell have been in this game.
Barisic's throw near the halfway line, gives it to Suter. Lundstrom. Now it's Goldson at the back. Rangers to get on the front foot and try and drive forward. Suter on the touchline, he's closed down by Spittle, moves it over to Goldson and puts the arm out again, looking for an option, and he's taken a touch, and Theo Bair almost got the sliding challenge in, and he fired it into the channel. Rangers, and Sima's come across, he's got legs, he takes a touch, but he goes down. But Mugabe just stood strong and made sure that Sima was never getting to that pass, and it goes behind for a Motherwell goal kick.
Yeah, and that's the type of service Sima needs, but I think Cifuentes should be the one to make that run. Sima's pulling away and creating the space. That's where Cifuentes can go, and he's obviously been one that's moved a little bit more in advance of John Lundstrom and maybe Ryan Jack to help in the attack, but Sima got on the end. His touch was just way too heavy.
Rangers 1, Motherwell 0, 69 played at Ibrox, live on Sportsound. Here's Liam Kelly, the Motherwell goalkeeper, plays it out to Paul McGinn. Motherwell, he's still searching for that chance. Theo Bair had a decent one. He chose the wrong option. It's Rangers who have the ball. Ryan Jack just on over to Cifuentes. Now out to Tavernier on the right hand side. He's going to run at Brodie Spencer. Takes a right-footed cross. Seamus controlled on the chest. Then Mugabe stuck the head in to make sure he could clear it. And then there's a foul on Goldson.
Do you know, on that one, all he had to do was turn and run, because Connor Goldson had gambled and went so tight on Theo Bair. Blair Spittle should have just dropped the ball over the top. Bair's got to go short and spin away. See, when you play against some of this, when Kenny played against me, if the ball over the top, Kenny knew he had the legs on me. So I had to be aware of my positioning all the time. Theo Bair should think back to that last run he had with Connor Goldson. He knows he has the legs on him. So why are you coming towards the ball? Why are you coming short to make it easy for him? Come short and spin in behind and use that half a pitch with your pace.
Motherwell making a change as well. Ollie Shaw's going to come on for Lennon Miller. So another attacking option on for Stuart Kettlewell. Lennon Miller, another great performance from the 17-year-old. I suppose the biggest compliment you can pay him, and many have said, is he doesn't look like a 17-year-old on the park.
Yeah, great composure. He's a great vision. I mean, again, belies his years, to be honest with you. He's came to Ibrox here and actually had a real hand in this game, you know, had a controlling hand in this game for Motherwell in that first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, but he still had some really tidy passes. Always knows where his teammates are. I think that's real credit to him, but also credit to Motherwell and Stuart Kettlewell and the work that they put in through the week.
Yeah, it's interesting because one of his contemporaries at Motherwell for a bit, Bailey Rice, is on the Rangers bench today, and you always just wonder, sometimes you give young players a chance, and obviously Rangers have a stacked squad, but you just never know until they get the chance, Steve.
Well, you talk about the pathway. No one knows what the best pathway is, or what the quickest way or the best way is. Certainly, I spoke to Lee Miller last summer, and he said he wanted to, because he could have left Motherwell, because he was at that age, he hadn't signed a professional contract, but he wanted to go somewhere where he was going to have a chance of playing first team football, hence the reason why he stayed at Motherwell.
Here come Rangers. Lundstrom for Sima. His pass is blocked by Mugabe. Payton controls it. He's under pressure though from Sima, and then it's deflected into the arms of Liam Kelly, who rolls it out quickly to Paul McGinn. He's going to stride forward a few yards. Sima comes across to O'Donnell. Is it on? Bear, his touch is heavy, and he just not looking quite as confident as he has been at times. It's a heavy touch, but they get the throw in, Motherwell. And it's going to be O'Donnell to throw. Gives it to McGinn, gets it back. Stephen O'Donnell got it right on the touchline. He's chipped it forward for the right foot. The run's been made for Ollie Shaw. Turns, gets a right-footed shot in on the edge of the box. It's blocked by Ben Davis. Ollie Shaw's got it again, but he's moving away from goal. Gives it on, and then Bear again tries a first-time pass around the corner. O'Donnell does manage to pick it up, and then Paul McGinn grabbed it on the far side, but it was already out for a Rangers throw-in. 72 minutes played. Rangers 1, Motherwell 0 here on Sports Sound, but I have to say it's poised still. Rangers and Kelly made a couple of good saves 10 minutes or so ago to deny Lammers and Dessers, but Rangers not cutting Motherwell open at will by any means. Here goes Payton with a right foot pass across in his own half to Casey, who has to go back under pressure from Cifuentes to Kelly. Takes a touch with the right foot. He's launched it forwards, and O'Donnell is still up there. He's going to chase, but he's never getting to that. And Jack Butland collects on the edge of his area.
And there should be a forward running through on that. You've got two forwards up there now. Ollie Shaw's just on the pitch. Theo Bear's put an incredible shift in for 72 minutes. Someone should be running through to put that under pressure, not your right wing back.
I'm just wondering, I haven't seen a bit of Mika Beer against Hibs, and then when he came on for a brief spell against St Mirren, what a difference he would have made in a game like this. It's so pacey and strong, and it's obviously to Motherwell's misfortune that he got a bad injury in just his second appearance for them. He'll hopefully have an influence for them in the second half of the season. Here come Rangers. Cifuentes out to Tavernier, right hand side. First time cross low into the box, and if Lammers just had a bit, just ran at it a bit more, he might have got there, but attacking the box at Tavernier was a good idea. And Liam Kelly collects.
Yeah, I just don't think Tavernier gets his foot entirely wrapped round the ball to bring the ball back towards Lammers. It was going straight fast into Liam Kelly's hands.
Here's Cifuentes, crosses the halfway line. Lammers takes it off him, gives it back to Cifuentes, who's now on the right hand side. Brodie Spencer closes down, infield to Lammers, and he's going to have a little sight of goal, and he's chipped it over to Ryan Jack, who's made a run into the box. It's dealt with initially by McGinn. Jack goes after it, collects over on the far side, back to Barisic. And to Lundstrom, gives it back to Barisic, who's now come in field, spread it over to John Suter, takes a touch with the right foot. He's up towards the edge of the D, gives it to Sima, whose first touch is a poor one away from goal, and that's why there's groans around Ibrox. So here's Cifuentes with a cross. Mugabe heads it out, and Rangers coming forward. Lundstrom wins the ball, and then he's put a cross in. He's come alive in this second half, but it's cleared only as far as Barisic, who's going to take the shot with it right foot, which you don't see him do too often, and that is why, because it flies miles over the bar.
That's exactly why. He's coming in and trying to shoot for a really tight angle for about 28 yards on his right foot, and scoops it way over the bar. But I'll tell you, John Lundstrom has been again the catalyst for anything good that Rangers have done in the second half. Carry on for a really strong performance on Thursday night against Betis. That's the positioning. He understands where he needs to be. He's there to get sustained pressure on the Motherwell goal by winning the second balls and building the next attack. He's had a really good positive first half an hour of the second half.
Yeah, another one whose contract's up in the summer, John Lundstrom. Interested to see what happens there. He got a lot of stick last season, but his influence on this game has been clear in this second half. That tackle before was a thing of beauty, if you're into that sort of thing. Now, here come Motherwell through Bear, prods it through for Ollie Shaw. He's three in the box, right-footed shot, saved by Butland. And that's a big save from Jack Butland as Motherwell threaten. And it's not done. Cross in. It's all wrong. Brodie Spencer goes in, and Butland again comes out clutching the ball, dives on it. A big couple of interventions from the Rangers goalkeeper. Rangers all at sea defensively, but they still lead by a goal to nil.
Again, Theo Bair gets it, he loses it, he gets it back, he releases Ollie Shaw in behind Ben Davies, and he's coming in from the right hand side, inside right, just into the box, and really it's Motherwell's best chance of the game, but it hits it straight Jack Butland. But again, when Jack Butland's been called upon at any time in his Rangers career so far, more often than not he's came up with the saves.
It was the worst series of headers you'll see
ever,
wasn't it? John Suter put it straight up in the air, Theo Bair put it straight up in the air, John Lundstrom put it straight up in the air. Ollie shot a huge chance last week against St Mirren. He should have scored there.
Cifuentes hits one with the left foot, but it's straight at Liam Kelly, who saves. And we're about to see Bailey Rice. We mentioned him. He's going to come on, as is Kamar Roof, and he made his debut against Livingston off the bench in February. Rangers' youngest ever league player. We're going to see him again as Barisic goes back defending, wins it off Paul McGinn. He's on his own byline and he's given it to Ollie Shaw, but he's not really got anywhere to go, the Motherwell striker. He's twisting and turning, manages to keep hold of it. Rangers get a foot in. Ryan Jack prods it forward to Sima, who's in his own half. He's now stretching those long rangy legs and he's lost out, and then Mugabe takes a touch right into Sima and then chops him down. And Stuart Kettlewell is absolutely furious there because Nevis Mugabe he almost ran into Sima with the ball and then kicked him.
But I don't know, I've seen about 5 passages they play where Rangers win it, Motherwell win it, Mugabe just needs to turn, give it back to Liam Kelly, come out the other side and go and attack. But he tries to be smart, Sima reads him, and now you're under pressure with a free kick coming out of your box.
Yeah, well, Bailey Rice is going to replace Jose Cifuentes, and Connor Wilkinson is replacing Theo Bair for Motherwell. He's missed the last 3 games. Connor Wilkinson with a calf strain, scored against Hibs. Good to have him back for Stuart Kettlewell. And it's going to be Sam Lammers who's being replaced for Kamar Roof. And we'll see what impact that has. And Kamar Roof, you heard Michael Beale pre-match saying, they're just managing his minutes because he barely played last season, had a lot of injury issues, and although he's probably he is the most prolific striker at the club, they just couldn't afford to put him in again from the start. But he's on now to try and make an impact in the final 12 minutes plus stoppage time we've got to play here at Ibrox. And it's a Rangers free kick over on the far side, which Tavernier is going to take with the right foot. Whips it in towards a penalty spot. It's won by a Motherwell player, headed up into the air. Ollie Shaw comes back to try and win it. It's caught between his body and Ryan Jack's. It breaks for Brodie Spencer to play up the touchline, and Davis came across to play it out for a Motherwell throw-in. And the Steelmen looking to get the goal that would preserve their unbeaten away records under Stuart Kettlewell. 8 games unbeaten in the Premiership since he took charge. Included a trip to Celtic Park in that as well, where they got a 1-0 draw. So mightily impressive. At the moment they're heading for back-to-back defeats. Suter's header up to Payton, who beats Roof to the ball, and it's McGinn over to Stephen O'Donnell. Right foot into the feet of Wilkinson, lets it bounce off his body, he's backed in, but then it goes miles away from him, and then Lundstrom picks up seconds, and he's fired it up to Sima, who's in the Motherwell half, and he's got to run it Dan Casey. He moves it infield to Tavernier. His touch is really heavy, and it just allows Dan Casey to play to Slattery. He looks like he's got tired legs, but he still holds off Ryan Jack and then spreads the play wonderfully out with a right foot to Stephen O'Donnell, who's now midway through Rangers territory. And he's going to put the cross in with the right foot, but that's a tired effort from Stephen O'Donnell. It just goes right into the arms of Jack Butland. Didn't fancy trying to run Borna Barisic down the left and just put the right foot through it, and it was a routine, as you like, for the Rangers goalkeeper, who moments ago came up with 2 big moments, a save from Ollie Shaw to preserve his side's lead. And he goes long. Mugabe wins the header. Brodie Spencer to the feet of Payton, who's got a bit of space, and he's going to pick out the run of Wilkinson, who's not going to get there because Connor Goldson made a good blocking run, and Butland picks up, rolls it to the feet of Lundstrom. Bailey Rice drops in for the pass. He receives it. Scotland under-17's captain gives it to Goldson. Touch forwards from Connor Goldson, across to Ben Davis, out to John Lundstrom on the left-hand side. Again, Motherwell so competent at just making sure there's not too many easy passes through for Rangers as Roof drops into his own half to pick up, and he's turned nicely and found Ryan Jack just in the halfway line. Good strength from Slattery, but Jack's going to get this back, holds off Casey and gives it to John Souttar, who takes it on the right foot and gives it to Tavernier. To Ryan Jack on the halfway line, right footed pass back to Connor Goldson, who gives it to Souttar, who moves it on to Tavernier. Rangers again, it's all a bit slow, and Motherwell are able to win back the ball, and then Slattery gets a free kick from Lundstrom, tries to go quickly, hits it off Lundstrom, and Alan Muir blows a whistle and says, get yourself away to John Lundstrom.
Listen, it's still all to play for Motherwell in this last 8.5 minutes. Rangers have not really created too many good opportunities to put them away and make the game a little bit easier going into the final stages of it. So it's still all to play for.
Casey goes short to Mugabe. Motherwell trailing by a 1-0, nearly 82 minutes played. Do they have a response? It's played long up the touchline. Spittle controls it. Can he keep it in? Ben Davis gets there first and puts it out for a throw into Motherwell. And Stephen O'Donnell is signalling to Dan Casey to get forward, because he's going to try and fling this into the box. Casey is walking up the centre half, but he's not going to get there in time. And in fact, O'Donnell goes short because Spittle peeled away, gets it back. He's going to float this in. Stephen O'Donnell next to the back post. Spencer, and then the whistle goes for a shove in the box by Slattery, I think. Tavernier.
I think it was Brodie Spencer coming round the back. You know, I mean, there's minimal contact, it looked like. I mean, Alan Muir's quite a bit away. James Tavernier doesn't appeal for it once again. And I'm just looking at Stuart Kettlewell's bench. He doesn't have an awful lot really to bring on to try and force the issue. He's going to bring on Georgie Gent to see if he can make something different in this left-hand side.
Yeah, Georgie Gent for Brodie Spencer, who's been very good, you'd have to say, in this left-hand side. The young Northern Irishman, Georgie Gent, full-back on loan from Blackburn Rovers. One for his, I think, first. Well, he's barely played any senior football. And here goes Butland to take the goal kick. 83 minutes played. Rangers still going in search of this elusive second goal, which would, at this stage, you would think, kill off Motherwell's challenge. Sima wins the header and Roof's after it. He's putting Mugabe under pressure in his own box. Mugabe takes a touch. He's holding off Roof, but he's going towards the corner flag, and then he does get the clearance up the touchline towards Slattery, who hits the deck under pressure from Souttar. It's on to Ollie Shaw, who holds it off well to Slattery. Slattery turns away from Tavernier, but he's let it run too much, has he, for a throw-in? No, it wasn't out, and it was fired back to Kelly, who controlled it well on his own goal line and moved it on to Paul McGinn, who's managed to run up to just about the halfway line. Is passed down the touchline for O'Donnell's cut out by Barisic, and then Motherwell concede the throw in. Rangers will have the ball back. Here's Barisic, throws to Davis as John Lundstrom is just announced as the player of the match. And the sponsors here at Ibrox, he has been good, particularly in this second half. Will it be in a winning performance? That's the question. It's still being posed as we have 6 to play plus stoppage time. O'Donnell for Motherwell, and they go back to the goalkeeper, and I wonder, Motherwell to try and chuck the kitchen sink at it in the final few minutes to try and just give Rangers a few nervy moments, and that won't do it. A long ball which goes all the way out down the other end of the pitch.
And saying that it blocks Rangers in, you know, it just means Motherwell can now really force the issue in the final third. Can Rangers work their way out? But this is just where, you know, as a smaller club, you're looking for someone to step up. You're looking for someone to produce that little bit of magic. And when you're continually selling your best players and they move on, it's always tough for a manager to find that kind of quality for the budget that he works in. So is there something on the pitch you can produce?
Throwing up the touchline, it's gone straight out. Poor throw-in, and now Motherwell go quickly. Here's O'Donnell, and they'll get another throw-in as Rangers block the pass through. This is where Motherwell want to be. Try and...
Yeah, they maybe should be sending the big lads. It looks like O'Donnell was wanting to line one up to throw it in a long throw into the box.
Yeah, Casey's slowly making his way up, but again it goes short to Spittle, tries to go through the legs of Lundstrom, and it's given away straight to McGinn. Now here's Slattery into the box, gives it back, chance for Motherwell. It's blocked on the line by James Tavernier and into the hands of Jack Butland. Incredible. Rangers at 6s and 7s at the back. The opportunity presents itself, and James Tavernier bails out his team.
I think John Lundstrom as well. He had the really big touch, didn't he? He had a heavy touch after getting man of the match. You know, I've got to say, wonderful pass by Callum Slattery, great weight. And James Tavernier, as good defenders do, they put themselves back onto the line. Comes off Butland, rebounds off his knee, and luckily for Jack Butland for Rangers, drops into his mid-drift. Huge let-off for Rangers.
It was Blair Spittle that got the shot in the end.
Well, that was the chance, wasn't it? That was the chance that we've been talking about. Really well worked. Let's say a little bit of a break of the ball off John Lundstrom, but when it fell to Callum Slattery, the 1-2 between Slattery and Spittle was excellent.
Wilkinson goes down, he looks at Alan Muir, the referee, but Connor Goldson won it fairly, says the referee. He nudges it back to Butland, who goes long. No messing about from Rangers at this stage. Mugabe wins the header, Payton wins the seconds ahead of Jack. Here's Georgie Gent, left-footed pass. Slattery controls right on the touchline. He's got Tavernier for company now, but again, he's just so graceful on the ball. Slattery turns away from him, and then it's played first time into the path of Wilkins. He's in on the box, left-hand side, and Ellie Shaw was sliding in at the back post. If only Connor Wilkinson could find him. Instead, he found Jack Butland in the Rangers' goal. But you can hear what the home fans think of their side's defending in the last couple of minutes.
It's a wrong choice, I think, from Connor Wilkinson. He gets it far too close to the goalkeeper. I think there's enough of a gap for him to roll it between the goalkeeper and defender. But that's like, once again, Connor Goldson getting done with a ball over the top and down the side.
Motherwell thrown to the feet of Slattery, who flops to the deck and gets the free kick out of Ryan Jack and referee Alan Muir. And it's going to be in line with the left-hand corner of the box, maybe 25 yards out.
You can just smell something here, you know, there's something brewing. There's the chance, there's the miscommunication with the Rangers defenders, there's Jack Butland throwing it out straight onto the head onto Connor Wilkinson. It all culminates with a free kick, Blair Spittle ball at his feet, and a chance for Motherwell to load the Rangers box and put them under pressure.
Stuart Kettlewell can sense that he's on the edge of his technical area, pacing up and down. Is this a moment for his side? Blair Spittle is over the free kick, puts both arms in the air. He's going to deliver it with the right foot to the back post. There's a great spin on it. Rangers head on it. It's going to fall for Ollie Shaw, blocked in the box, and it's still not away. And then Callum Slattery ends up knocking it straight behind for a Rangers goal kick. And it's a big block in the penalty area because Shaw got a clean strike on that.
He sure did. When it was hung up to the back post, it was knocked back down. All the Rangers players had dropped, and it just felt with Shaw around about the penalty spot. I mean, there was an absolute rocky bodies for it to get through. Shaw caught it clean. I'm not sure which Rangers player it was, but they blocked it, and it ends up safe. Out for a goal kick, Jack Butland ready to launch it up with 1.5 minutes left to go.
It's certainly not been convincing by Rangers, has it? You know, if you're anyone else, and whether it's European or whether it's domestic, you're thinking there's something here with this Rangers back line. They've looked really unnerved this afternoon.
Here's Slattery, and it's played through for Ollie Shaw. He looked offside. The flag, of course, stays down for now, and he's got Spittle steaming through the middle, but the pass is really poor. It goes to Gent at the back post. Gent cuts it back for Spittle, takes a touch, right foot curls it. Goldson blocks it in front of the line, and now the flag goes up for offside. And, well, in fairness, I think it's Douglas Ross over on that far side. And it is the protocol.
You know, it is, right? And I'm going to say something here. John Souttar, his recovery pace to get back is non-existent. He's there. Blair Spittle's been on this pitch for 90 odd minutes already, and he just look at John Souttar with the arm up. Yes, it's offside. You need to get back inside and make sure there's not going to be a goal coming. I mean, it was miles offside, I would say that, but you still need to defend properly. That's a behaviour, Craigs.
Yeah, it's, well, even if it was onside, the pass across the box for Blair Spittle,
it was awful. It was absolutely awful. It should have been cut across and slammed into the back of the net, and then the flag goes up.
So, all in all, not great. But Motherwell are still plugging away, and they still trail by a goal to nil, or just about to tick on to the 90th minute. Some of the Rangers fans have gone already, and the rest who are here distinctly unimpressed with that passage of play. And here come Motherwell. They're hemmed in at the moment, can't get the ball away. 5 minutes of added time, and here's Sima. He's turned over the ball, he's running into the box, left hand side, crosses it across looking for Kamara Roof, but it was poor. Georgie Gent read it, and now Motherwell come away. Here's Slattery crossing the halfway line, and there's a foul from Bailey Rice, and he was going to make that foul all day long, and it's a good foul to make from the young midfielder on halfway.
It was, and he had to make it. You got to say, once again, just the way to pass from Callum Slattery was absolutely perfect. Into Blair Spittle, he brought it down, no doubt. Free kick.
Yeah, that's what's called the tactical foul in the game.
Yeah, and it's a yellow card. but he had to make it because he was the wrong side, and if they allowed Spittle to move up the pitch, Motherwell had some numbers, and instead Liam Kelly takes the free kick in the centre circle just inside the Rangers half. He's looking for an option. In fact, he goes short out to Spittle on the left hand side. He's going to put the cross in with the right foot. It's high, it's hanging. Wilkinson's there, and Ben Davies has to head it. It's Barisic actually has to head it backwards and out for a corner kick to Motherwell. So we've played one of the 5 added.
And if they got the goal, you have to say it's been fully deserved. I think their performance this afternoon, barring probably the last 10 minutes of the first half, first 10 minutes of the second half, has been very, very impressive. They've been the driving force. They've been trying to force the issue. They just need something to fall their way.
Spittle over in front of the Motherwell fans to take the corner, puts both arms in the air. Is there a twist in this match? It's hoisted right into the edge of the 6-yard box. It's over everyone, and Georgie Gent collects it at the other side, left-footed cross. It's whipped in, and Jack Butland, really good goalkeeping, commanding the edge of his 6-yard area, claims it, flops on it, and he'll eat up a few seconds for Rangers. But that's not the position they want to be in at home to Motherwell in the Premiership.
And that's the one man who can, again, all season, he's done his job, he's done it properly. Anytime there's been saves to be made, he's done it. When he needs to come and collect crosses to take pressure off his team and again see this game out, because that's what it's going to be, seeing the game out. Jack Butland, excellent signing.
Mugabe wins a header, but it's only as far as Bailey Rice. Here's Kamal Roof on the edge of the box, flicks it on for Sima, who's controlled it on the chest. He's in the box, he's running away from goal, and it's a really poor second touch. He's just about kept it in, and then it's prodded out by Gent for a Rangers throw-in right next to the corner flag on this near side. Rangers trying to get...
I mean, I was wondering if he was going to run towards the corner flag and save it, but it was his touch actually took him all the way out there.
Yeah. Tavernier throwing. It's full time at Fitodrie, incidentally. Aberdeen have beaten Ross County by 4-0. We'll get a round up at full time from Willie Miller, who's been watching that game, and Motherwell have got a free kick after that throw in way down near their own byline, and I make it 3 of the 5 played. So we've got 2 minutes left at Ibrox,
and there's one team desperate for the final whistle, and it's not the visitors Motherwell. I want to hear this stadium when the whistle goes, because this hasn't been a performance, I think, that will inspire supporters, inspire people around, because it's been laboured, it's been slow, it's been lethargic. They've made changes to try and bring the big boys on, and they still haven't managed to get a real foothold in the second half.
Well, the empty seats tell their own story, and there's a lot of them here. It was not like that pre-match. It was packed as ever. It's certainly not at this moment in time, as Rangers hold on, but they are winning, and that is the key thing. They have got the moment. It looks at this stage it's going to help them to 3 points and move above Motherwell in the table. Motherwell will try and create one more chance as Wilkinson controls on halfway. Tavernier gets back well. Good challenge from the captain to get his body in, and now Bailey Rice has it just on the halfway line. He looks for Roof. Casey gets there first and heads it back to his goalkeeper, but it's not as far as the goalkeeper, and it dropped for Roof, and then Sima hit off him and spun away, and Motherwell get themselves into a bit of bother there, and then they get a throw in on this near side deep in their own half, and they're going to need to work it the full length of the pitch if they want to create something. And I'll make it about 40 seconds left as Tavernier wins it towards the edge of the Motherwell box. Bailey Rice gets it, gives it to Tavernier, looked for the flick round the corner, but Mugabe made a strong challenge. Now here's O'Donnell. He's in a lot of space in his own half. He's moved it on to Slattery. He's been outstanding for Motherwell. He's going to fizz it up the touchline, and Ollie Shaw's made the run. Flag stays down for now. He's collected it on the right hand side of the box. He needs support. He's got 3 blue jerseys around him. He's done well to win a throw in. The Motherwell striker throws it backwards to Slattery. He takes one look up. He's moved it infield to Paul McGinn, who's taken it away from Lundstrom. Lundstrom goes back, forces McGinn back. He's pulled it back to O'Donnell. He's whipped in with the right foot. Wilkinson's in there. Can't get a head on it. Maybe does come off Wilkinson, but either way, it's gone into the arms of Jack Butland, who collects it standing and then just decides to hit the deck.
I thought he might try and just lay down there for the last 30 seconds of this game and just see it out properly, but I think when this ball goes forward up towards the Rangers front line, that'll be it.
Yeah. The 5 have been played, the 5 added minutes have been played here at Ibrox. Rangers seconds away. They've done it, they've got the victory. It's a 3rd win in a row in all competitions, but listen to that. The home fans far from inspired despite the victory. It was laboured, particularly as the game wore on. Extremely difficult at the end. Motherwell pushed and pressed, but the decisive moment came long before that in the first half. Rabi Matondo, before he was withdrawn after an injury, he was on the edge of the box, drove a low shot in, low towards the goal. It hit off Cyril Dessers and flew beyond Liam Kelly into the top corner of the net. There were chances at both ends. Liam Kelly had to make a couple of really good saves to deny Dessers and Lammers. But then at the other end, Jack Butland had to intervene. Denied Ollie Shaw, denied Spittle. And the Spittle one, in fact, was cleared off the line by James Tavernier. And Rangers hanging on a touch at the end. But at the end of the day, for Michael Beale and his side, it is job done. They can move on to a huge match midweek, League Cup quarter-final against Livingston here at Ibrox, and that is massive. They are favourites to go on and lift that trophy, and the fans here will expect nothing less. Then Aberdeen come here next weekend. Motherwell's unbeaten home run under Stuart Kettlewell comes to an end, but they were excellent again and will feel aggrieved that they've not taken anything. But ultimately it's defeat, it's victory for Rangers. Full time here at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Motherwell 0.
This